Hey guys, what is up? It's me, Asteroid. With me now is Universe, and we'll be your casters for this first best of 3 here at the GXR Valorant Invitational India VCT offseason. India Qualifiers #1. That is a mouthful, but definitely excited to get things started with this one. So, Universe, we will be having what we have right now, 11th of October to 13th, which is the open phase. That will be what we'll be casting for, at least for today, and then moving forward. And then we have also the closed phase, and then we'll just explain that a little bit further on. But first things first, man, how are you? This is the first time we'll be casting together.
Yeah. Well, I'm of course, I've been waiting for this for a while. I just found out that I'm going to be doing this, just a couple of days ago. But I'm ecstatic, waiting for these games. Of course, these are going to be some of the biggest games, and with such a big prize pool, one of the biggest events that we've ever seen in our region as well. 100,000 US dollars on the line, and a lion's share goes to the person, to the team that makes it on the top, of course. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. I'm waiting to see what we've got in store for us today. We've got some pretty great teams, of course, and
Absolutely.
in the names of God Squad, Reckoning, Velocity Gaming, W Streak, some pretty amazing teams here. And there's only spot for a couple of them to go through. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, to the winner takes all the prize here. And honestly, I'm just like out of my element right now because I'm a Southcaster for Southeast Asia, for Philippines, and I haven't really gotten too much to the South Asia or the India side of VCT, VCT. But you know what? This is a good experience for me to see what the region has definitely to offer, to see what the difference is from all of what we have here in APAC altogether. But yeah, so we do have, I believe our first match will be, as you mentioned, Reckoning and God Squad. That will be our first series for today. Best of 3. I'm not sure if we can still talk about the veto just yet, but we already have it now. What do you think about these two teams that are going head to head for our first series?
Well, given that this is a meeting of these two teams after quite some time, they haven't faced each other in a long, long time. God Squad themselves haven't been in the most best of forms in the recent history. They had a pretty big hiatus, and so did Reckoning, actually. And I believe that, in the history that these two teams have been in the South Asian region, God Squad has, of course, been the upper echelon of Valorant in the country.
True.
And across the entire South Asian subcontinent. But if you consider the way the Reckoning have reformed in the recent past, they've had a little bit of a roster change. Some of their players have gone out. They've gotten some new ones from the SEA region as well, which I believe to be Fishball. And I want to say one more. I'm pretty not Zeke. Yeah, Zeke. It was Zeke. 2 players who've joined this team who I believe add a lot of value, to be honest. And this is going to be a fresh game. It's not going to be something that we're going to see probably repetitive of what we've seen between these two teams before. But that's just information for you because, just getting an introduction to what these two teams are. But of course, you would know God Squad, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would, of course. I've casted them a couple of times beforehand. I believe that this is the squad with SK Rossi and Hell Ranger. Exactly. Yep. So these are one of the most prolific names in the India Valorant scene. And please, I know the fans are going to maybe call me out on other players, but this is at least on my end who I know from the specific region. Now you're seeing just a quick head-to-head. Gotta say, I love the logos for the most part. You got yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? You're gonna have some fun while you are also competitive. So
yeah, you got the. You know what? Doodles make me feel like it's personalized, so I love it. Whoever made this, 100 over 100. But yeah, so you were mentioning as well that it's been a very long time since these two titans have gotten head-to-head up against each other. So that would mean that there is a definite difference right now in terms of the agents because of the balance patches to the initiators such as KO and Sky. And we also have, of course, the addition of the new quote-unquote new map, which is Pearl. So there is a lot of things that we might not see, what they've gotten in the laboratory and during their scrims, what they were able to just discover that might be the key to winning and propelling themselves deeper into this tournament.
Yeah, I'm expecting a really interesting match between these two. I really want it to be up close and personal,
Yeah.
because usually how it ends up being is there is a squad of five that we see on the screen right now who've got the upper hand. Usually when they go in against this squad, right? Historically,
Yeah.
it has been God Squad with the better chances of winning this tie whenever it's happened in the past, but with the amount of time that's gone by between these two teams, having seen each other face to face, has given evidence to the fact that, okay, we can expect anything at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Reckoning, of course, a great team, but these five have stuck together for quite a long time, 2+ years, I think, since almost the beginning of Valorant, when it released back in 2020. These five players got together, global, and they got under the banner of
Yeah.
way back when Global Esports, and they have gotten themselves a pretty interesting legacy so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Hellranger being one of the best controller players that I've ever seen. SK Rossi also gravitating to not just the Jet, but now the Chamber. So that's definitely something
Yeah.
to watch out for. For Reckoning here, again, my knowledge for India teams not as deep as I would like to be, but I'm just looking forward to seeing what these specific players, like you mentioned, have gotten. Because I'm looking at their statistics right now. With their past matches, they fought up against teams like Velocity, Enigma.
Yep.
They've kind of had some lukewarm reception, losing a couple of those matches, winning some games, but not really the series all throughout. So this team is still somewhat in that struggling phase where they're finding that groove, just to take out the bigger names in this particular region.
Sure. Yeah, they have had a not so great recent past. They are trying to find themselves in a better position, and with the addition of Fishball and Zeke, I believe that they are taking the right steps towards that direction. But
Mhm.
hey, I'm excited to see what they're going to be putting up against this team of God Squad, and having a look at the map of Veto. Okay, this is really interesting. They've got Icebox up first, picked by
Mhm.
God Squad, and follow that up with Haven and Pearl. Okay, this seems to be one of the more unorthodox map vetoes
Mhm.
that we've seen so far, right? No Ascent, no Bind. Haven could be one of the ground zeros, but starting off on Icebox is something that I actually did not expect.
I would say it might not be that bad of an idea for God Squad here because of the fact that, again, as I mentioned, SK Rossi has been gravitating towards that Chamber, and Chamber actually really does quite well on Icebox. So they might be banking on the fact that he might have that strong impact play on one of the sites, let the other four do whatever they have to do, let SK Rossi
Yeah.
lock down onto the site. For Haven, regardless of what happens, I feel like this is the map that every big India team either lives or dies by the sword. I think there was like a couple of matches where
Yeah.
God Squad, from their former name, fought against Velocity, Enigma, and then just could either go to APAC tournament or not. And
Yeah.
we'll see how well their pedigree shows in that one. Pearl, this is the map that definitely I still have no true information about, but at least for Icebox and Haven, I feel like there is a lot of things that God Squad definitely have in terms of experience with against the opponent, against Reckoning.
Yeah. Well, we might or might not go to Pearl, which is a map again, which I'm not quite sure is in the hands of Reckoning, because they've actually never played the map of Pearl so far, Reckoning. So if it does end up going there, it's going to be quite a miracle to see what's going to happen. But talking about Icebox, Asura,
Yeah.
the point is that it's been a really long time since we've even seen God Squad play this game. The last time they played was in the VCT eliminations bracket against Fancy United, and that
Mhm.
was 6 months ago, 7 months ago. And since then, of course, we've had so many meta changes on this map. We've had so many different agents being, pulled into the meta, with Chamber, of course, being part of it. The last time that God Squad played this game, they had
Yeah.
a really interesting roster of a Jet, Killjoy, Sage, Omen, and Sova. And I'm not really, looking into that composition in a way that it makes sense, because
Mhm.
Icebox, you see that you need a little bit more control, but these guys have a really different meta, right? And
Yeah.
if you look at the other side of Reckoning, they had a triple Sentinel setup the last time they played. They had a Chamber, Killjoy, and Sage, and couple that with a Sova and Viper. So really distinctive and different compositions from two teams here.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Just looking at the compositions themselves, for Reckoning, it means that they might just be looking for a lot more lockdown per se for the site. Because if you're going to be looking at, if you're going to be choosing for that triple Sentinel, that just means that you're not really too keen with letting too much information or too much of the map be controlled by the opponent without your utilities, alarming you about that. So at least it gives them a much brighter picture or a clearer picture of where
True.
God Squad could be trying to aggress and so on and so forth. It does go, of course, as the obvious question: how does this work if they're not going to be starting on the defending side? What happens when they have to start pushing in? I know Icebox can be played a little bit slower and such, but you do need that explosiveness that
Yeah.
sometimes Triple Sentinel just does not give you. Even if you have, let's say, the Chamber, you might need someone of a really, really high caliber play to make that happen,
Yeah.
to maybe make him into like an entry fragger that could create that space. But more times than not, it's not really as useful. As for the God Squad one that you mentioned with the Sage and whatnot, what's good about
Killjoy
that
as well.
comp? Oh yeah, the Killjoy as well. What's good about that is even though there has been those changes for the Icebox map in terms of the layout of the sites itself, Sage at least makes sure that, particularly on B side, it is going to be an easier plant to try to get that spike down in, because even if you do have that tiny bit of default plant where there's that wall, mollies as well as just actually simple wall bangs from 2F on B site is actually quite deterrent for that kind of safe plant. So unless you have, let's say, really far back control on snow or danger, you're not really going to have that really safe plant on the B side. So we'll just see how that
True.
goes. Even though you did mention that there is also the possibility that we could be seeing different picks as well, but at least we do have somewhat of an idea what happens if they do choose these agent selections.
Yeah, talking about that Sage coming to the point where they're playing the post plant, ideally, and on paper, Reckoning should not let that happen at all because they've got three Sentinel, right? They've
True.
got a Killjoy, they've got a Sage, they've got a Chamber. That's more than enough utility to keep these God Squad players at bay. But of course, given that if SK Rossi decides to pick up that Jet today, and he is going to be playing that dive agent, then it's going to be difficult to stop him, of course,
Yeah.
because he can just fly by pretty much everything with his teammates supporting him, with whatever recon the stuff they got. But hey, let's do all the theory crafting while the game is going to be starting. We should be heading into agent select, and let's find out finally, after the longest of times, what is going to be the pick on this map. Starting off, we've already got the Chambers locked on both sides, which is what I was expecting. Hellranger on the Viper. Okay, they're going to switch up from the Omen the last time they played this. Pretty much going to be a simple comp across both sides. Similar, it seems, but I think that the side of God Squad are going for that no duelist comp because Lightning Fast, I don't think he's going to be picking up that Jet, is he?
Oh,
Okay.
wow. It makes sense. I mean, even if you don't have the Jet, that's fine. But if they actually didn't go for a duelist comp, that would be okay as well. But I think just for dueling purposes, you do need a flash. Not really a duelist per se, but you just need something to force your opponents to react to, oh, there's a blind out in midair, right? So having that Lear for the Reyna here is going to be good. Because if they're going to have Kappa be on the Sova not the Sky, because of, Recon Dart over the bird, it is a little bit better to at least have that flash ability just to make your opponents wiggle. Because I've seen a lot of teams really live and die by just not having a flash ability. It really does make or break some teams.
Yeah, it most certainly does. And if you have a overall understanding of how you can push through that Icebox play map without a duelist, then of course go for it. There's a lot of no duelist comps that do not, have that much of a problem in execution wise, right? On the attack. But having Arena, of course, makes it that little bit better because, like you mentioned, that flash is going to be annoying the opponents a little bit, pushing them off their angles if it's not broken. And of course, with the recent patch, Reina's flash just a tiny bit faster and just a tiny bit lesser time for it to exist in the air. Let's see how Lightning Fast is going to be putting that to use because I really thought that Lightning Fast is going to be the one to pick up that Viper, which he does actually do quite a couple of times. And we're going to be seeing a no duelist comp. But hey, Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It is God Squad up against Reckoning. Quite an interesting comp on both sides. Jet and Reyna going up against each other. One team has a flash, one team doesn't. Who's gonna come out on top? That's right. What do you think? I'm gonna ask you a prediction right now. Who's gonna? You clearly you have not as much experience with the South Asian region, so it's safer to ask you for your prediction.
Yeah, I know. The viewers are just gonna try to pin me down here, but I'll go at least for God Squad. They're the proven and tested team that I've seen in the past. So at least for this first game, or maybe even the series, I'm gonna go with them. I've been enamored by how well Hellranger has really been one of the key pillar players for this particular team, and I don't think he ever disappoints anybody. Of course, alongside SK Rossi, but definitely for Hellranger, yeah, I'm picking God Squad.
Yeah, well, I think I'm gonna have to go along the same lines as you. I do expect God Squad to make a better presence of their skill today, but hopefully the amount of distance that they've had from Icebox for all these months doesn't affect them. Because Reckoning also, I think, seem to be really prepared for this. For them to come through the qualifiers this far, of course, means that they've got something in their pockets that they're ready to showcase. And I'm just hoping for a great game. Hopefully it goes to Pearl and gives us something completely unexpected and exciting. Because to see these two teams on Pearl would be amazing. It's quite a spectacle, But hey, we've got Icebox up, ladies and gentlemen. And let's hope they bring the heat to this icy cold map. And we get to see some pretty spicy affairs of duels between SK Rossi and Harsh if need be. And, well, whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Absolutely.
Azurai, what do you think is going to be, the game plan for God Squad? Are they going to go for that aggressive peak with the Reyna having, or are they going to hold back and take a little bit of a calmer approach? What do you think they are going to do, and what do you think they should do?
Usually we just see them go try to test the waters first and see how well the opponents react to how aggressive this team can really go on. So I think we're just going to see guns blazing at the very start. We'll see possibly not the Reyna having a Lear at pistol round. Usually you do see Reyna just get the double devour just so that he can have the possibility to keep the ball rolling, keep her healthy as she's entering the site. SK Rossi maybe plays the backline, maybe on belt, has a couple of shots with that headhunter of his. So we'll see definitely how that goes. But what I really do like about this composition is actually it's pretty much mirror as just a little bit of a difference with the duelist with again God Squad having the Reyna and for Reckoning having that Jet. But that's just something to also point out. And of course the Sage, I think really what we do see some both of these teams really respect for is that backside control might not always be theirs when they try to push it onto the side. So having that safety with the wall just to get that safe plant is going to be incredibly useful here. What I do see happening here though is it means that we might be seeing a lot more post-ban situations, and that will really test how well these teams can really play that nail biter of a situation. Because if that happens, that would mean that they have to deal with, if ever Hellranger or the other Viper player here has some lineups, they'll have to chase all the way through those specific lineup positions just to shut them down. So there's a lot of mind games that can really be played out by both teams, and again, it's all situated with how well they can start it off with the plant spike, with the Sage being able to put up that wall.
Yeah, it also is a really thin line between, how much utility they can actually use for that post plant. Because, God Squad are a team that love to play on both ends, but when on attack, they focus on that post plant because they've got utility, of course, right? They've got the Sova, they've got the Viper, but how much are they going to use up that utility to execute the site itself? We'll find out how it affects in as we head into the game. Ladies and gentlemen, this is for the qualification in the India Qualifiers Valorant Invitational by Galaxy Racer. God Squad up against Reckoning. And with this Icebox map coming into play, you can only expect it to go uphill and better.
Okay, a little bit of a spread here. No showcase of where the Viper wall is on attack yet. For defense, though, Hellranger decides to already show it on the A side, so this might gravitate the attackers all the way through B. Sees the head, or sees the foot of SK Rossi. Both challenged, but none to connect. And speaking of the man, he's actually opted to go for the Sheriff. A lot more bullets, actually, from that 4 or 5 that you can get for the Headhunter on the pistol round. Fishball already finds a pick on the defense, as 3 of the members of Reckoning not really backing away from that A main, really wants to push up on the defense. But it seems like God Squad will double it up. SK Rossi's head's been spotted. Zeke will back away for the moment. And right now, God Squad a little bit lost here for what they want to do. But there's too much heat on the A site, as well as the Viper wall. So back away first. Oh, this is something I don't really see every day. We do have...
Oh, that's...
Oh!
Spike
Backs
down
away.
B.
Gets one, and he's trying to get a little bit more value out of this. Does give a little bit of damage to Kappa and teleporting straight away.
Area.
They've lost their talisman here.
Right here.
It's a problem. The plant will go down irrespective. A little deeper than usual. They're going for the fight, it seems, here. And Zeke will take on
Player
Kappa in
standing.
that range.
Spike
Harsh
down
finds
B.
another as well. And God
30
Squad
seconds left.
have gotten themselves handed to on this B site only because of one chamber.
Absolutely. Sometimes you just gotta respect that, you know, even if you're using the Sova drone, you still have to at least make sure that nobody pushes in, because that's a slow drone that just gets very little information or very good information in a very slow amount of time. So that in that percentage, yeah, you do see here Harsh making the best out of it. I think he was looking for the Sova first, but finds skills in return. So that really hampered a lot of the push that, again, God Squad was kind of looking for.
Yeah, indeed. Like you said, they were a little lost in the beginning. They were going left and right, you know, thinking about where exactly can we land up. The A side seemed like they could be a potential fake, which kind of did not sell to their particular needs because Harsh just stopped them right in the tracks. There's that B main, and now is the anti-eco. Harsh holding down this angle with that Marshall. He does have a challenge posing in front of him, 3 of them at that. And spots out one. He's hoping for somebody to cross by the wall, but God Squad getting closer. Doesn't matter, though. Still connects that shot. Lightning fast to drop pretty quick. And even though the side control has been taken by God Squad, they will get the plan, which is money in the bag. All they're hoping for is another weapon to drop. Harsh getting another, but not going to be able to follow it up. Hellranger forces himself on him. Now it's a 4v3. Take that
One enemy
4v2.
remaining.
It looks like God Squad might have just done enough to get the bag here, that's right.
How much did SK Rossi? Oh, okay, I was gonna say he just had like the 1 bullet on the Headhunter. He's dead to rights here unless he maybe gets a little bit of value. Nah, that right click on the classic just not up to him in this particular round. That was a little bit presumptuous here from God Squad that, again, Harsh would not repeat that. They haven't forced him to TP out. Again, he hasn't repositioned somewhere a little bit more awkward from yellow. So he still had that one chance to get that re-peek in, and then he actually still gets a lot of value. Even though he does get shut down, I mean, it's what for a Marshall? Like 1,200? No,
It's 950, right?
950.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
This is the weapon that I don't really think about too much because I don't buy it as often. My bad. Yeah, 950.
Here.
Right, for 2 kills, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, well, Fishball is actually moving up a little aggressively on mid, and Hellranger might not be aware of this. Oh, never mind, he is, of course. He's got the brains of the best ones out there. Hellranger is going to hold off that mid-aggression with his utility for as long as possibly he can, while the rest of his team yet again moving towards this B side, which, by the way, is empty. Only one trap separating them and this site, and that wall is going to be coming up. And yet again, God Squad find themselves at this B side, but this time can they hold it is the question. 5v5 post
Spike
flank coming in.
planted.
Oh, that's smart. They're backing away. They're only leaving Lightning fast to actually deal with the close encounter because he's the Reyna. Gets a pick. He can always just dismiss away. And what is kind of good about this is they don't really want to give that much close distance fights against the opponent. He just gets a lot of contact. Finds 3 from Reckoning here.
Oh, no.
There's the first pick. Yep, there it is. As I mentioned, goes for that dismiss straight off the bat. Kappa holding yellow here just so they don't get overwhelmed just a little bit too much. That wall not really going to be long for this world. And he's just going to be cleaning it up. If they're smart about this, they should be able to at least get an almost flawless round. And they lose 2, but still, very solid take. Good reads overall for God Squad.
Yeah, indeed. they knew exactly that that mid push is going to come through, and Hellranger with just one Viper Orb and the Snake Bite, of course, keeping them at bay, and that one trap towards B was not going to hold them off for too long, of course. And with that, we have the first round coming in the hands of God Squad. Not too much lost, only 2 weapons, and that's not going to harm their economy too much. Only Kappa and SK Rossi down to 600 and 500 creds. At the moment, we've got a small little tech pause for Reckoning. But as we're looking at their economy and their buy, it does look a little scrappy at the moment. They're forcing through this one. A Spectre in the hands of Zeke. A half armor and operator on Harsh. Hopefully, it sings the tunes that he wants it to. If he misses his shots, it's going to be a little bit of a situation for him and his team, because then God Squad are going to be able to take up the lead in the next round.
I will say, though, Harsh has gotten so much value with how he just plays as that chamber. So I think they're just pretty confident that it is going to merit a lot of pressure. So once they see that Harsh is already rocking it up, they might be forced to go to the A site, where even though, permitted, Zeke does have that Spectre, it is going to be more of a close encounter fight, so he might get some value through it, because opponents will have to go through that toxic wall of the Viper. So that means that the Spectre should have some value per se, but we'll still have to see how this goes. Again, this is what I'm talking about. You do have now the Leer from Lightning Fast. If he actually picks this out in the perfect position, this might force Harsh out of... Oh no. Oh, shot does not connect though, but he's already given away that he has the op, but he hasn't TP'd away. Fishball is giving him much support. SK Rossi shuts down Fishball, the TP away, and now they've opened up the opportunity for the B side. There's the wall to come in, and God Squad just absolutely either reading or wrecking whatever defense they had on the B site here. Lightning Fast, I thought he was going to go for the boost. A little bit cheeky, but you know what? We'll take it. Kappa does find now the operator. No, never mind. Harsh is still alive. Who did he get? Anyways, this is going to be a very scrappy retake for Reckoning.
Yeah, they've got a difficult situation here. Their backstop coming in as well with a Spectre. Not going to be the best of the situation. Pixel's just waiting for somebody to come out of that door towards B main and give him a free kill. But it's not going to happen. Look at Lightning Fast, though. He's gone right up on top of the site. And Harsh is ready for this. He's been spotted, and he will be taken out. Lightning Fast too quick on the trigger, and that's just Zeke left alone with a saved Phantom, which might not be for too long if Hellranger goes peeking towards A main. Waiting for that fight. Zeke, is he gonna peek this? He's gonna get one dropped, but nothing more. A saved Phantom for the next round. A hero for him to play along with. And the rest of RGE have to play on a couple of pistols.
Man, they really committed to that B-long defense. You can't fault them, because it's 2 agents that can technically get out of a tricky situation with the dash and the TPL with the rendezvous, so it's fine. Harsh does have his operator once again in the form of that tour de force. Come peek me. It's a 3-stack on B-long. They really want to fight for this. I'm actually curious to see how well this fight goes. Chase him down? No. Slower at least, just to see if anybody's gonna be here on the push. I'm not sure if the
look at
drone
Hellranger.
spotted 3. Oh
look at
my goodness!
Oh my god, this is huge. He's gonna get a free kill, make that 2, opens up the B side, but I don't think he's aware of the third, of course, who is still sitting on towards B main. But Hellranger absolutely on point with his aim in this round. Takes down 3 almost for free, and Fishball, okay, not quite sure what happened there. Connected.
Yeah.
But Hellranger, the hero of this round, allowed to sneak in towards mid like it was nothing. He finds that round for free, almost. Yep, there it is. Fishball has disconnected, unfortunately. We will have a small technical pause coming in from the side of RGE. But what a round from Hellranger.
I gotta say, like, you know, they're even pros actually lose their nerve in pushing mid on Icebox, because it's one of the most awkward mid pushes you could ever hope to go for, right? Because it's exposed on so many angles as you push through. I think he got through under tube because there was a trap on kitchen. So he had to deal with so many angles on boiler, on screens, even just looking through 2F from B side all the way under tube, and he still got through. So Hellranger definitely giving a much needed boost there. As you can see, the 3-2. A bit of a struggle here for Reckoning. Of course, we can't can also point out that they might be having some technical pause issues, but also the setups just being dismantled quite well. You see how well or how quickly Global are just able to understand that, oh, if they're going to put a lot more pressure on B main, we can try to see if their defenses are weaker elsewhere. And Hellranger finds that slip through on mid, and maybe even A if ever he wanted to do so, or the rest of Global wanted to, or excuse me, God Squad wanted to do so.
Yeah, well, he could, excuse me, he could have gone all the way around if the Sage was a little bit more, thinking, okay, you know what, we've left mid alone for quite some time. Maybe I should just have a Pixie, but a little too late because Hellranger's already crawled through. And I really hope that they cover up that mid position. I know that if it wasn't Eco round, they were hoping that, there would be a B push yet again, which has happened in every single round so far. So they were hoping that would happen again. But that one drone was enough to bait them out and think that, okay, you know what, they are coming B, but they actually weren't. Hellranger pops in right through. And overall, God Squad clearly have the control of this game so far. They are finding that B side time and time again. Whether by hook or by crook, they are getting it. Whether it's killing people or pushing them off their angles, they are finding it. So how do you think Reckoning should be responding to this? Do you think they should be going for an aggressive push towards that B main side? Because there's a real affinity for that B side for God Squad, isn't there?
Yeah, there absolutely is. This is where we go to the point where it's double sentinel. So what's happening with the defense? How are God Squad able to just, again, mosey on through on certain positions such as these? I'm not sure if going overly aggressive is the good point, because that just means that you open other points of the map to be pressured by God Squad as of the moment. But maybe that's something that they need to do. Maybe they need to put Harsh as well as Fishball in a position where they're going to feel a lot more confident, because it seems like they're starting to lose their nerve a little bit here. That pixel peek angle where you see with the op shot with Harsh missing that and then just trying to re-peek it, maybe feeling that he needs to put a little bit more pressure on, which is true. But again, I think that is one of the things that we're seeing right now. The top fraggers for Reckoning just losing just a little bit of that confidence. And if that just happens against a team such as God Squad, that's a really, really big negative to go up against such a team like this. So maybe on a buy round such as that, maybe they could double peek actually mid, see if Hellranger's going to do that once again. He does go for that smoke on mid, but maybe now he won't be expecting that somebody actually pushes through the smoke and they can get a catch off. It's all about the timing. It's all about the opportunity made, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing for the side of Reckoning is that they don't have a flasher, right? So they can't pop through smokes with somebody, being a KO underarm flash or even the arena, right? But the side of God Squad have the luxury of doing that. They can, especially towards A main, if it all, the Viper does put the orb down right where the ultimate orb is, to block them off. They have a flash through which they can, of course, distract the enemies, push right through. They have the luxury of doing that, but I think that's exactly the aggression point that comes through. The operator is probably going to be the most important piece of, weaponry for them. They need that to sing in the hands of Harsh. Even Fishball can't pick it up. He is a great asset on the operator himself. So I think that the operator needs to sing a little bit more than it is. But the way that God Squad have actually evaded it so far, apart from, pushing Harsh back into position and then maybe giving up frags, but that is in a situation where they've got control of the site. They've got the plant down. So they're okay with losing players as long as they keep the control of the site, right? Ooh, so that operator is going to be really paramount for their success, but we're going to have to find out how they're going to be using it in the rounds to come. Are God Squad going to be always hitting that B side, going towards mid and B? Because they clearly have an affinity towards it. We will find out in just a bit. I think that Fishball has reconnected, and we should be heading into the game real quick, ladies and gentlemen. And I really hope the Reckoning have got some planning in this downtime that they've got so far, how to counter this God Squad.
I will say something as well that I've seen some teams use to altering or varying levels of success is just to pop out an early wall, like early stage wall, excuse me, right? Just if it's too hot on B, just put out the wall straight on B. Make sure that you it's either God Squad breaks it or they just back away from it, and that opens up so much more opportunities for like two players to go elsewhere and hold crossfires, or even just double up an angle and maybe overwhelm global esports that might be playing the lurk, something of that matter. Again, it's very basic, but sometimes just basic isn't the just is the way to go. Anyways, Fishball trying something a little bit different here by SK Rossi. Oh, what a peek of the angle. Maybe a repick for skills here. But Fishball gets back into cover. The rest of Reckoning backing away. I wonder if the Sage does have a res to bring back SK Rossi to life later on if he gets a kill or a charge.
Oh my god.
That might not matter anymore as they're just falling down bit by bit. Reckoning, as he mentioned, very aggressive in A main, finding a bit of value. And here we are.
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking that they should be doing. And here, you've got a little bit of a...
You will not kill my ally!
Of members for the side of God Squad. SK Rossi coming back on their feet doesn't make it as better as having 5 players, but it is one man who is able to take out multiple at a time. So it will give them confidence. Zeke throws down his last slow orb. That's going to keep them at bay, but the last 35 seconds here, I'm getting a little worried as to how they're going to approach this. Lightning Fast gets on with the kill. Straight up on top of 410. Finds another! Fishball might have found 3, but it's still a 3v3, and Skills will take out the main man of this round. 2 versus 3. Somehow the defense has crumbled down to bits and pieces. The Lightning Fast will become the Empress that he's supposed to be. But it doesn't happen! It doesn't matter! Oh my god, what just happened? SK Rossi left in a 1v2 all of a sudden, and he has got a troublesome Viper in front of him. He's gonna bait around with his mind and sound cues, take the victory. Wow, that was a really close one.
We'll have a replay for that. I have so much to talk about for how the defense from Reckoning was actually not as optimized as you think it would be. That challenge from Fishball, he just knows, man. SK Rossi loves these off angles. So I wanted to see like a couple of seconds before that. But you see how weird it was for Reckoning that they actually placed on those positions? It was because nobody was breaking the recon dart. So they wanted to hide on certain positions. But that actually, even though they're so close together, that actually separated them well enough that Lightning Fast was able to just get those individual picks bit by bit. So because of just nobody breaking the recon dart, Reckoning was put in a position. Thankfully enough, they got the retake, but again, it was awkward. That recon dart really flushing out the op here. He's alone. No, Fishball's here! And he lines it up, dashes away. What a murderous intent! And he's going to try to at least delay the plan if he can. Not going to happen. Lightning Fast, though, in danger right now. Very risky position, but could find some value. Waiting for the wall to go. SK Rossi!
Oh, SK Rossi.
He knew. They coordinated. He got it.
Yeah. 4 versus 3. 2 pretty amazing ultimates on the board right now, which is going to get value. SK Rossi missing a couple of his shots. Gone really down low. Skills not having the heal either. And SK Rossi will fall. 3 versus 3. Fishball not expecting Skills to be in this corner, and he will get taken down. Trades going all around the place.
Oh no.
But Skills is still on top of things. 2 versus 2. And look at Rio. The only man left standing. He knows one player. He knows where the second is. He's trying to spam him down, but his bullets have not supported him as he's run out of them, and he's run out of time as well. God Squad will find another round, even though all of their players have fallen.
Was that the correct move for Fishball to push through that wall of his own teammate just to go for a punish? Possibility, or maybe it was because there still was the Viper Pit. He really needed to risk something for it. But Skills was just so ready. He was just so prepared to go and again get challenged by Fishball in that particular manner. And then just the last player from Reckoning not really having any point whatsoever. Even though it does seem like we're making it sound like God Squad are having such a massive lead into this one. It's still 4-3. So they're keeping, again, such a close encounter with the team. Reckoning is doing such a fantastic job at, even though it seems like, again, they're losing some of these rounds, they're making God Squad play or fight for it tooth and nail.
Yeah, they're keeping it pretty close, and I'm really, glad that they're able to do that, but they need conversions right now. That Viper Spit was, of course, a troublesome ultimate to deal with. You needed to find that kill onto Hellranger, who just put in that ultimate and ran straight back on top of B main, the boxes, but yeah, it is still God Squad keeping everything in place for themselves to have that advantage. No matter what happens, they're keeping the one main player who needs to be alive, and that's all they require. But now, they've got no Viper Spit. They have a little bit of shortage of ultimates, only one available to them, that is Kappa. Skills is pretty close to the revive. He needs 2 orbs for that. Can go for the pickup towards B main if required, but at the moment, they're just holding on. Oh my god, Harsh, okay.
Yeah. When you crouch, your mobility goes significantly lower. So that was a shot that he's definitely willing to take. Man, I love the pushes from these guys. They just go for those off-angle positions, gets the off timing, and again, nobody could be the wiser. Gets a pick, even on Thrifty. This is looking really fantastically for them. Blade's not anymore available from Fishbowl because he's down. Pixels is getting chased. He's been spotted, but still hits another shot. As he bamboozles him to his own wall, Hail Ranger finds a little bit of space here on the A side. Now, he can't really call his teammate just to go in, but it's the two of them. It's SK Rossi and Hail Ranger against the world. SK Rossi's trying to muddle his way through on screens. Harsh, Rio, aware. Now he has all the information. His teammate is going to go for the flank. Maybe get the pinch onto SK Rossi here. And then just, again, deal with Hail Ranger afterwards. Yeah, that's the plan right now, SK Rossi. He's so aware. Exactly. One more for the ace. Maybe just give it to him. And Rio now just hopes to maybe find Hellranger first, who is severely low. And if that happens, he can actually force SK Rossi in a really cheeky spot. That shock dart is going to be super important.
What?
And it doesn't connect, man.
An inch of despair. And it is going to be the inch of despair for him as well. That shock dart missed by as lowest of margins as possible. If he had gotten that kill, I think that would have been a clutch for him. I think he would have gotten the confidence to take it out. But God Squad keep it running for themselves. The engine does not stop. Doesn't matter if they're on 5 HP or 50 or 150. Gonna keep it alive. SK Rossi, the hero of that round, fighting that 4K. Every single avenue he could exploit towards mid, he did.
Absolutely, absolutely. If Rio got that, I don't think SK Rossi would have been in a position to actually clutch the round because he was going around. Yeah, exactly. And the plant on the spike was kind of awkward for him. So he either had to run all the way or zip, which obviously would make so much noise. And in that point, Rio would just be very much prepared for that encounter if ever, or that duel if ever it happens. But my goodness, when it's the two of them left, you know, for God Squad, Hellranger and SK Rossi, magic just happens.
Indeed. No ultimates on the side of the defense. They're going to have to play this on their bare utility. And, of course, their aim. Harsh playing without that armor, which was stripped off of him towards that B site. But he's still keen on re-peeking this angle. Lightning Fast is probably going to be the first one to challenge him. Flash. No, it's going to be the dry peek, and that is a mistake. Did not award him that space. And now Harsh is forceful of taking it.
Oh!
He wants all of them. And a little bit of a mistake of positioning from Zeke and not aware of the angle close to him is going to give Skills a bit of reward. And that is the player coming back on their feet. 4 versus 4. The B side yet again being contested. And God Squad seem like they have enough room to take this unless Harsh yet again has something to say about this. He's not letting go of this site no matter what. That flash is going to be covered up there on the wall. But Lightning Fast, 20 HP, hit by his own teammates. Ultimate from that Hunter's Fury. Time of the essence. The plan was going to go down. Rio, all he's hoping for is one spam kill. But he's going to hold out for a little longer. And Hellranger not aware that somebody could be on top of the site. 2 versus 3. And Skills makes it easier for his team.
Now we're back down to the 2 versus 2.
Last player
Spike
standing.
out in the open. Oh, this is going to be impossible for Harsh, but he only saw the bow. He saw the body. He has a chance, but oh no, he could have maybe gone for the headhunter. I mean, he wasn't expecting that Skills was just ready to challenge for that. He got 2 kills too at the start of that round. Both of them, again, SK Rossi and Lightning Fast. He also saw their skills was kind of just deciding on who to pick back up, and it was actually correct to go for Lightning Fast because again, you got that Leer. In any case, it was just look at this one. He got this one, and then he was just. I thought maybe he had a chance to, what is it? No scope, but
yeah, but
didn't feel like
just
skills gave
slightly bit premature. Just about a millisecond, I believe, because
Yeah.
he could have scoped in if he waited for just a little longer. Wait, where's that? Oh my God, that is a nerd recon. That is a nerd recon from Kappa. Finds that mid spot, but look at where they're heading off. The trap not gonna be there. It probably is gonna be broken up by the shot card. No, it isn't. Zeke now aware of the fact that Kitchen is compromised, gets a headshot, but not enough for a kill. That is gonna be problematic. It is gonna be healed up, that wound, by skills. Hellranger will pass by the opportunity to take any fight towards the
Pixels!
mid region. Oh, this is huge. But is he aware? Is he aware? Oh no, it is. Oh, no way, Hellranger! He misses that, and skills is gonna run past. Hellranger is ready for this. Hells up for his teammates. God Squad are getting away with stuff they're not supposed to here, Azurai.
Absolutely, the timing
Spike
just
planted.
not in the favor of Reckoning. Like Pixels, if he was just a second slower in going through under tube, he could have actually caught like 2 players of God Squad, not really expecting him to be there. It's like a whoa moment, if at all. Now this is going to be such an awkward position. They've given God Squad so much time to play them or to post themselves in this post plant, place themselves, excuse me, in the post plant, and now we'll see how this goes. Harsh, he's going to be trying to save Zeke first. That wall is going to give them a little bit of leeway, but again, there is just so much crossfire, and it's planted out in the open. So if that wall breaks, well, it's very easy just to look down at the barrel and just shoot him down. The diffuser, I mean. Now looking through to 7, this lead has gone very much heavily in the favor of God Squad.
Well, 7 and 3. Some of those rounds could have really gone the either way as well. Really close it's been so far, but it doesn't seem like it by the scoreline. If you're just joining in, ladies and gentlemen, the Valorant action that we've seen so far in this matchup has been amazing, but ever so slightly in the favor of God Squad. This Viper Spit could turn the tides if they want to hope for that 7 and 5 scoreline. RGE really need this round. God Squad not afraid of challenging this huge pit of poison here. Oh no! Pixels! He was spotted by a Pixel, and that unfortunately ended his life. That is unlucky.
No way.
Gets
oh, headshot!
But just not enough.
Spike planted.
Yeah, that's what you call poetic justice. Pixel getting down by the Pixel. Oh, loving Fishball with that angle of his. Now, if you can just isolate the fight on skills. That might have been something. No teammate was near enough to actually go for that fight. This isn't the last round of the first half yet. Rio has been just superior, to be honest. Kappa, oh, he was so quick for that challenge. Does get the tag in, but again, it's still a 2 versus 1. And look at Hellranger just not giving a damn for his teammate. Now Kappa trying to get this operator out of his hands. Can you get back into kitchen? Rio is 1 HP from getting knocked out. Oh, he's so smart to try to go for that wall bang, but it's not going to happen. Rio is out of there. Is Hellranger going to be able to find him? Nah, I thought he was going to go for B-long. But yeah, let's look at this replay real quick.
Wow, he gets that headshot, but Fishball saves his teammate in just about a second's time. But still, doesn't matter. All God Squad care about right now are those rounds piling up on top of each other, and they've got 8 of them. They look like 2 plates of hot pancakes, 4 and 4 each. They're enjoying it.
Here.
Fishball does have his jet blades. Okay, there it is. Zeke. He finds one, but he's so close to lightning fast. Still somehow manages to escape, get a kill, and back away. That was incredibly risky. But lightning fast. Not akin to his name. Not too fast in that one.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
He's coming back up on his
Oh,
feet.
wow. How many times has Skills used his res? Like,
I know, right?
yeah, I was
revive-
saying the same thing.
It's been amazing that they always have the revive right when they need it, and then it provides value in the overall, schematic of the round. Zeke does have his wall available to stop them from entering this B site. We're trying to take that plant, but I think he's hoping for more of that. Put the plant down, I'll lift you up on top of the wall kind of a play. He's kind of holding
Very
on to
cheeky.
it. 40 seconds on the clock now. Still a 5v5, and Lightning Fast, of course, has his Empress, which can be activated. The wall goes for a deeper plant, and no, Zeke misreads it! What a play from God Squad. They knew this was going to happen. And they get a plant in the most open position possible. And of course, add that onto a Viper's Fist. Which, by the way, is not exactly covering the fight.
Fishball!
And Hellranger's lost all of his teammates thanks to Fishball. Flying up in the air and taking everybody out. But it's still a Viper in a Viper's Pit. It is really dangerous to challenge him. Oh, come on.
There's the push out, and Fishbowl picks up the 4K. As you mentioned, that was kind of awkward, if not really awkward for Zeke. Maybe it was because of his own teammates' Viper smoke that he didn't see them cross, so he boosted himself on top of the wall, gets also tagged by the recon dart, if I'm not mistaken, so that was just piles of awkward after which, yeah, there it is, as you saw. So Lightning Fast immediately reacts to the information set before him. But what was the biggest factor was the flank coming in from Fishball. So I think he was able to spot the trap, the trademark from SK Rossi, and actually just go past that. And SK Rossi was supposed to be the one to deal with him first, but did lose, and that did force the hand of God Squad to push forward. So this meant that if they could not hold their position, which was getting kind of squished in from two sides, that would have been very difficult for them to just play the post plan, which it really was, because again, they were just dealing with so many opponents from either angles.
Yep, well, this pistol is going to be paramount to their comeback. Reckoning. Fishball is pretty up and close to this A site. They are taking their time to get into the site, waiting for recons. Oh, the wall in the hands of Skills! And he's still alive somehow. Fishball as well across both sides. Gonna get spammed down. Escurasi and Skills will find one each. Lightning Fast out of that Kappa with his own as well. And with that, Reckoning have been humbled. One man left, and that one man will be killed too. 9-4, what a round. Unfortunately, in the middle of all of that, I think there was a bit of chaos which came through. A little bit of an isolated fight. That wall from Skills was so perfectly timed because Fishball dashed through and his teammates were left behind. And then he was caught in a, you know, rock and hard position. Left side, he's got Skills. Right side, he's got SK Rossi. Where are you going to run from there? Because he even had only one smoke available.
True, unless you could just go on a tangent and just win some of these fights by yourself. That was very impossible to get some any value off of that. And even if he did have that cloud burst, immediately Godsword just shoot to the smoke. You're gonna find one. Speaking of finding one, there's Lightning Fast pushing forward. Can't really get the orb for the dismiss. It's a little bit awkward for him, but now they've got all the information. Wall up here by Skills. He's trying to peek at the angles. He's gotta be careful because Harsh, again, Harsh has been getting these one taps with the headhunters on those pixel angles, so you gotta at least respect that he can hit those. Kappa, well, seals it all in. Seals in the flavor of the A site. Picks up the 4K. And we are closer to victory here for the God Squad unless our other team here can find that value in their first gun round here in the second half.
Yeah, but even that gun round is not exactly as, you know, fruitful in terms of economy and buyouts as they would hope for. 3 of their players on half armor, which allows the Spectres to be a little bit more powerful in terms of their range of play. And of course, if you couple that up with, you know, a Guardian still being in play on the side of Rio, forgive me, Fishball, it's going to be a little difficult. Let's find out if they are going to go all the way through. Harsh holding down this A main push. He knows that somebody's come up a little close, and oh, SK Rossi finds this. It's gonna be huge, but no, Pixels will shut him down. Just a chunk of damage onto him. He's on top. A little unaware of the close angle, and Harsh will punish this push from the side of God Squad towards A main. The B side opened up for business here as Hellranger is
One enemy
way
remaining.
far behind towards Orange and is moving towards mid. And now he's the only man left standing. And he's got no idea that it's actually the B side that's been hit.
Yeah. You can see, though, that Reckoning are still very cautious. of Will Hair Ranger places himself, because the smoke was there on B, and they had no information where he actually is, so they can't really lightly plant the spike just yet. So they were just checking every single corner that they could. Finally spots him, so that's going to end the round off. That was just awkward for all of God Squad, because they were just pushing for the flank, making so much noise. Harsh was very much prepared to just, oh, there's 2 people here. Easy kills for me. Why not? Now here comes the true challenge with God Squad finding themselves a lot of weaponry. Kappa is on a scout. Excuse me, Marshall. Different game.
Yeah.
But SK Rossi does have the operator.
And it sings the tunes of wins. 1 kill only for him. Fishball again besting him, which we've seen time and time again happen. Hell Ranger will get the trade back and revenge for him, but still God Squad in the lead of men. Pixels down to 24 HP. That Shakhtar is not going to be able to touch him, but Hell Ranger with the operator. Not a common sight, but still a sight that you want to see. And this Marshall is not going to find him any value. Not used to playing it that often. Pixels!
1 enemy remaining.
Okay, my God, this guy's woken up out of nowhere. Finds 3 kills with 3 bullets. The Guardian is just absolutely a part of his body now. Synchronized in the ways that he wants it to be, but there's one man who could put a stop to this. Hell Ranger switched out back to the Vandal. And oh my God, what the hell just happened?
They lined up. I mean, Pixels was low. So if Rio could not find that fight win against Hellranger, yeah, you saw him just line up for it. Oh man, he did so well in all of that. He was 1 HP. Unfortunately, didn't see the lineup there from Hellranger, but that is exactly what happened. That was so unfortunate. They almost got that universe.
Oh my God. Pixels did such a great job of finding those 3 kills out of nothing, really. Just his pure aim. And 24 HP. But in the end, it succumbed to the power of Hell Ranger. What he can do. More like a Power Ranger, to be honest. And of course, being the leader of his team, he is the Red Ranger. You know, even though his colors on this map currently are green. Hey, talking about colors. It's about to light up for RGE on this A site as they're hoping for the spike to detonate, alter its duration. If at all they're able to get it down. A lot of utility being put down here by skills. The wall preventing them from even thinking about pushing through. Viper's wall, of course, ready to give that damage in case they decide to go through that. And Lightning Fast is ready for this. A little bit lesser weaponry in terms of power for the side of God Squad, but they're still not afraid of challenging these fights. Viper Spit, really important ultimate here. Will allow them to get the plant, but Lightning Fast is unscathed from this. He will get one. Looking for more. How is he finding these? Lightning Fast gets into the Viper Spit. A little too overheating moment for him over there.
30 seconds
Pixels
left.
will shut him down along with SK Rossi. Keeping the planter alive, not for too long. Those skills will take him. It's a 2v3.
Now, round continues. Dust settles. Viper Spit is still active. Harsh. No. Oh, he still gets it. Pushes through because of the recon dart flushing him out.
Oh, no.
And he almost gets Kappa. Gets bamboozled by the positioning. Hell Ranger, I love the cheekiness. He is above, and he is just looking for the legs of Pixels. Can he find the man in action? And Pixels is playing this so calmly and coolly, but somehow still loses the fight. Kappa so quick on a headshot trigger. That is going to be the demise. One more round to go. But I will say, I was saving this off until the round ended. That start of take of the A site, I gotta say, Reckoning were very confused. Like, they were just... They didn't know where to go because the Viper Spit was just adding an extra layer of where the hell am I? And then, who was this? Kappa was also throwing out his ultimate, which did not help the case there of Reckoning to get a cleaner take on the A side.
Yeah, again, one of those rounds, Azurai, which really comes close to the point of RG winning, and then comes one man from the side of God Squad, and he says, nah, this is mine for the taking. And they just swipe it away from them.
I'm too far. Teleport's gone.
All right, this is it.
Yeah.
Final
Wait.
stop. Ooh, All right.
Okay.
It's not the end of the line. It is
Not
still charge up.
completely, but again, we've seen God Squad take out these rounds, of course. Lightning Fast is on a big, fat flank, and if he finds value out of it, then he is going to be able to do something, but for the moment, 4 players available for the side of RG against the 3 of God Squad. No revives available on the defense. So they're going to have to fight this out through and through. Utility, they've got a wall, which they can use for the defuse. Up it goes. A little bit weird wall, but it's actually going to be a little smart because it's straight up. Just hold it too long. 2 points do. Not enough to get the next.
You will not kill my.
The revive comes through as well. Okay, for the economy purpose, they get
Yeah.
Fishball back up on his feet, but they're still halfway across the world here, Asurai.
Definitely, so many steps to just try to get up on the level right now for God Squad. I mean, even though that sounds a little bit harsh, it's 6-12, so can't really stop that. But looking at the kills overall, Harsh and Fishbowl have been just doing so well in keeping this team afloat. As you mentioned, they needed to use that res just for the money. Honestly, if they could have just saved it, if they had the chance to buy a little bit more, that would have been much better, because trades are just in the favor so much for God Squad. SK Rossi tilt challenges. Fishbowl gets back too. Oh my god, if Fishbowl didn't get those, I would quiver right now for Reckoning. But this man, he exudes excellence. Now, look at this position for Harsh. If he just holds on to this white angle from him, he might be able to catch this triple stack on mid. Oh, dude. Okay, he's good for one. Good for the second. He might just clean up house. Oh, the shoot, the headshot through the wall. Never mind. I take it all back. Harsh, you're a mastermind. You're a god. Take it all. Take it all.
Well, took it patiently, played it 1-by-1. Unfortunately for God Squad, if they had all 3 of them had swung together, maybe that would have been a different scenario. They would have had 2 weapons to work with. They would have picked up what, they would have killed off of Harsh and the one that was already lying down towards mid. But unfortunately, even the 1v1 fights, and of course, this man who's been on top of his game today, by the way, 23-14. It's pretty great numbers to have at this stage, for especially a team that's not being able to keep up. Zeke and Rio not having the best of games. They are doing their best, but Lightning Fast is besting them further. Takes out Rio, and now there's no more post-plan ultimate available in the form of... Look at... Oh! I thought Fishbowl was going to get away with it, but SK Rossi with that swing so quick. Zeke will get the trade back, but it's the side of the defense who've got the ultimate available to revive somebody on their feet, and Hell Ranger takes out ours as well.
Teleport's
oh my
ready.
god, that's right. This might just be over right here, right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We might be just looking for the next map, Haven, at this one. They're going to readdress... Ah, man, I wanted them to readdress B if ever, because they cannot let skills get that res if ever, because this would mean a 5v2 as the round continues. There it is, the final push of Zeke as well as Pixels, and they got spotted by Kappa. The timing just absolutely perfect. I don't think he spotted the second one, so he's just going to keep spraying through on this. There it is. Pixels finds a little bit, but he's making so much noise. Again, it makes it very easy for Kappa to just visualize, and that'll be the first game taken by God Squad.
Yep. Well, amazing stuff from God Squad, although it did come down to the wire in many rounds. RGE had control, RGE had numbers, but God Squad were somehow just better in terms of finding these openings that I really believe was, kind of situational, more consequential in terms of, positioning. Because like we saw in that one round where Pixels were playing a 1v2 against, I believe it was Kappa and Hell Ranger, he positioned himself really well. But Kappa, that swing and a flick, just, it shows the evidence to the fact that there were so many rounds like this where they had control. Harsh was doing the work, heavy lifting with his operator, with his tour de force. He was finding every single nook and corner, right? But his team was just not able to multiply that, ripple effect. They were not able to flow along with the waves that, was created by the people of his own team. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that resulted in them falling straight down to the icy cold spikes of Icebox. And
Yeah.
now they're going to have to revive themselves on Haven, and only if at all that is possible.
I will say though that Reckoning did much better than what we saw or what we were kind of expecting. Maybe it could have been a wash for God Squad here, but they at least were able to really win some of these rounds convincingly, if ever. But a lot of those, I think, came from the fact that they were just able to win a lot more of the initial duels on the rounds that they won, and that just kind of scaled altogether. But when it came for the post plans, mostly not really, didn't really happen. Also, one thing that I did want to point out there, specifically for the B main position, right, is you never really see Reckoning respect the right or the other lane where Lightning Fast keeps peeking. So how many times has like Lightning Fast or SK Rossi gotten picks against Reckoning, and Reckoning just never adjusted to respecting that, oh, if I peek you, I can always just, you know, dismiss away if I get a kill, or if it's SK Rossi, I can always just rendezvous away. And again, never really dealt with that.
Yeah, SK Rossi always, trying to make sure that he's always got support, right? You know, even RGE did that when they were on the defense, but RGE were pushed back because of one man only, and that was Lightning Fast with those flashes. And sometimes Harsh himself would miss one or two shots towards B main. You know, when they were dry peeking, I think there was that one round which both of us really, appreciated Harsh for, where he got that triple kill towards B main, but they still lost that round, remember? Yeah, it was heartbreaking because God Squad had the numbers down. The revive came through, like you said, they revived Lightning Fast back. And like you mentioned, that one Lear that he had left was actually what drove RGE off of their angles, took God Squad to take those forward fights, and they were the ones, dominating these gunfights. And Harsh, deservedly the MVP, but unfortunately, his team has got nothing to take back upon this except for an individual, performance that was brilliant.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not enough. I mean, look at his ACS, 321. On average, we see even top fraggers only have like maybe 250 to 280, but this man really bringing the tempo here. Now, this is where it gets a whole lot messier when we look at Haven, because even if he is that chamber, again, if there is just pushes from God Squad would be just awkward to see at the least. I believe the scoreboard is going to be showing to us right now. There you go, 13-7. Who do we have here? For the side of God Squad, Hell Ranger. Yeah, not really the highest, but you know what? He did a lot of really cheeky stuff.
Yeah. This is exactly what I'm talking about, right? If you look at the numbers of God Squad, you wouldn't really think that the scoreline should be 13-7, right? This looks more like a 13-11 type of kills, spread out between the players, right? You got Harsh on 23, Fishball on 18. Even though Rio and Zeke didn't really have that much contribution in terms of kills, there were a lot of utility, advantages that they give their team. But overall, SK Rossi had a more quieter game, 12-15 for him. Skills on 12-14. Hell Ranger, of course, the MVP of his team, and deservedly so as well. Lightning Fast, even though he did not give as much value as the Reyna, you'd expect usually the Reyna to be on the top two fraggers and have a positive KD ratio. His impact kills were what mattered the most. And even though he died most of the times, he was still in the position that his team required him to be at, times, especially, when, like you said, on that B side where he could get that kill, dismiss away. And he did that a couple of times, right? So that was what he was brought in to do. And he did that really well. And it was all about that positional play from the side of God Squad. And of course, the timings that they got in their favor, which they absolutely took utmost advantage of.
Yeah, another example is that round that he was basically alone on the A site. The awkward round where Reckoning was using their Viper Pit to try to plant the spike in. I think he was positioned somewhere on 2F on the A site. And even though he only had that Bulldog, he just was able to position himself so quickly and efficiently that he was able to get isolate fights, even though there were so many players of Reckoning all together. I think that's also one of the weaknesses of Reckoning, is that their ability to trade quickly after is not as good as God Squad just getting multiple kills throughout. So that kind of ratio really ruins a lot of what they want to do, and that's something that they have to try to deal with as we're looking forward to pushing or going into the second map, which is again Haven.
Yeah, true. Haven is going to be a really interesting compositional play over here. Obviously, we're going to see something different from both these teams, even though it was really, a map where you depend on whether or not your duelist pick, matters, because of course, if you have the jet, it works, in combination with that chamber. But there are times where we've even seen the neon come into play. Multiple teams use that, neon breach combo, which they really love because, of course, neon with the speed that she provides is going to be really, useful for the team.
Absolutely.
I'm not quite sure if Fishball is going to be going for that, or is Lightning Fast going to go for that, if at all they go for it, because I know SK Rossi is going to be sticking to that chamber on this map as well, unless they bring in that Killjoy, let SK Rossi shift over to that jet role, which is a composition that they've played in the past, by the way, where they've had the Killjoy, Jet, I believe, Omen, Sova, and Breach, I believe, is what they're going for. But, of course, with Fade coming into the mix now, we could be seeing anything at all. And, of course, with RGE having their brand new roster, trying out different things here, let's see what we've got in the mix. What do you think, Aswar? How do you think Haven is going to go for both of these teams?
Well, again, with those particular agent picks, there is a lot of merit for just set plays to go aggressive on the push, because I think that's what Haven really gives that no other map does, is that if you're having trouble on the attacking side, which I think will be started by I think it is God Squad, it's always good to just have that set play and just charge in onto the C or the A site. So if you have the specific agents for that, it makes it very easy, and you can always force that that post ban. Same thing though here for Reckoning. So if they're having any difficulties, trying to get any value off of, if they have just a good set play, they can at least levy some rounds in their own favor if ever they need to do that. So at least Haven is somewhat of, well, to its namesake, a haven for teams that are struggling against better teams, if you have some set plays that you can use. Well, with all that being said, we're going to go on a quick break, guys. When we come back, it's game number 2 between Reckoning and God Squad. Again, my name is Aster. With me now is Universe. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Valorant Invitational India VCD offseason official event by Galaxy Racer. We are back with map number 2, which is going to be quite a uphill task for RGE now that Icebox has slipped out of their hands. A map that kind of looked like it should have been a lot closer, to be honest, ended up being a little bit more on the easier side thanks to God Squad's meticulous timing advantage taking, right? They just had so many different opportunities, which they took, I think, in a better stance than RGE. And here we are on Haven. And Azrai, what do you expect? Do you think we're going to go to Pearl, or is this going to end right here?
Oh, I think there's a big possibility that it could end right here, right now. So I just want to go back a little bit quickly on Icebox. Because of what we saw, I think what separates these particular teams is they actually have, I believe, the talent to be able to fight against the likes of SK Rossi and Hellranger. And that was very prevalent with what we saw with Fishball as well as Harsh is performing so well on the chamber as well as that Jet. I think what the difference is their map control really wasn't as defined, as pristine as God Squad was, and that's what we saw kind of really netted them to lose a lot of those rounds. I think we saw it very early on when Hellranger was just able to sneak up on Tube and get those double kills on B main and basically open up the rest of the map. I think this is what really troubles the rest of Reckoning. So now fast forward coming into Haven, that is going to be again something that they really have to lock down in on this one. Now it depends. For the life of me, I totally forgot who's going to go on attack. Now I believe it is going to be Reckoning that will be going attack on Haven. So now that's going to pose a little bit of an issue. Are they going to go for actually 3 things? Because it's kind of basic, but it's something that I think a team like this will definitely need to focus on. It's either a standard composition, a composition that's very much into over attack, because obviously they're going to be starting on the offense and they want to squeeze out as many round wins as possible if they can, or go for the other direction and just go heavy on the Sentinels, as you mentioned, and just maybe control the map in that regard. Because you can play Haven somewhat slow, even with a triple Sentinel, if ever. Again, I'm just throwing ideas out into the void, and we could possibly see that. But yeah, just throwing it out there.
Yeah, the last time Global Esport, God Squad played this map of Haven, they had a pretty interesting composition of what I'm looking at right now is the Breach, Chamber, Fade, Omen, and Raze. So they're going for a little bit on the control side of the map, having, of course, the Raze as a pseudo-initiator slash, well, I just lost the word duelist there in my mind, because, of course, the Raze has the boom bot, and, of course, which is, of course, not just a damaging utility, but also a detecting utility, right? And Raze being the only agent, I believe, so far at least, who has all of her utility, which is a damaging utility, the satchels, the boombot, the grenade, of course, and her ultimate, which sometimes is actually 0 damage, even though it falls right to your feet, is an agent that we all love playing, but also hate playing at sometimes. But yeah, God Squad did play this the last time, and if we compare that to the side of the other side, which is Reckoning, it's not that far off. The only difference being that Reckoning love to use the Astra quite a bit, which again gives them a lot more utility to work with, because of course Astra, again, that mix between an initiator and controller, which gives them that slight bit more of utility to work with. But Azrai, what do you think is gonna transpire down on this map? Because I believe if they are gonna be heading the way that they do, God Squad, then lightning fast on that Raze has actually been really damaging in the past couple of games that he's picked it up.
Absolutely. So this would just mean that there's a lot. In particular, I think the corner on A long would not be as safe for you, because just one throw of that paint shells and you're gonna get flushed out if you're not careful.
True.
So that's something that they have to deal with maybe later on, because again, it is going to be the attacking side first for Reckoning here. So there is, again, we should be just looking at that for the second half. In any case, I think aside from that is just the ability, if Lightning Fast has gone for the nerd side and found himself some lineups for the paint shells. There's so many default plant spots that he can just ruin if he has that lineup with the paint shells, which I have just experienced before, and it is not fun to deal against because there's no counter to it. It delays the plan. It allows the defense to actually push up a little bit further back into the site and get map control back or site control back. And that could just be one of the just small things that God Squad can use to bring back the site if they're going to be playing on that post or almost post.
Yeah, true. That is true. But at the moment, they are starting on defense, right? So God Squad are going to have their work a little bit more cut out for them because their defense, of course, is going to be spread out thin. And RGE, because the last time we saw the lineup that I just discussed about with Astra, of course, is been quite some time, and it was with their previous roster when they still had Deadly 10 and Bad Love in the mix. But now they've got Fishbowl, who, by the way, is a really, really amazing aimer, as we just saw with the Jet. He's got some pretty crazy clips with that Jet, having the knives as well. So they could switch up a little. I don't know if they're going to go for the Raze. The Raze, of course, has come recently into the meta after Chamber has popped in, taking up, of course, the, primary, operator duties. The Fade, of course, who is a really great aggressive initiator, allows your duelist to, to couple up with them and find value. And the Breach, not to mention the earth-shattering agent himself, gives a lot of room for that Raze to, stun people, grenade them, throw in that boom bot, whatnot, everything, right? So I'm theory crafting here, just expecting that. I hope that this goes to a 13-10 scoreline. Either way, I would love to see Pearl, but I think God Squad at the moment, with the confidence that they're, exuding, I think that they should be looking at a victory here, but it's not going to be easy. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we have seen how much fight is actually still in the team that is Reckoning. So they really do have that capability to do so. I was actually just looking real quick into Fishball's history with how he's been playing. So he was actually a Malaysian player that has fought against teams such as Team LZ, who was a very prolific team in that particular region of Malaysia. And they were able to win one of the series there. So that's something that, again, you have to look into this. So Fishball, definitely one of those players that we know has had experience against losing, but also that just means that he is not as, what's the word here, easy to break down as well. So we'll see if that translates into the second map, because again, teams such as this can always get shaken up, and when you listen to interviews of how the better teams were able to come back from these serious discrepancies is, we just play their game, we try to reset ourselves. How well has or is the reset game of Reckoning now coming into this second map? Again, against a team such as God Squad, there really is so much pressure there, but we're going to be looking at Fishball and maybe even Harsh to really come back into this. Actually, another player that I really like to see, but didn't get as many kills, but still had some outstanding kills when he had the ability to do so, was Rio. So we'll see if Rio can also maybe even out this entire team and lead them to Pearl, as we're kind of hoping for, because I also want to really see Pearl for that third game.
Yeah, I mean, Rio is the IGL of the team, and he, has got, of course, a lot of pressure on him as well to get his team through this one game. And we should be starting in just about a couple of seconds, ladies and gentlemen. The players are ready. We are just setting up the agent select in just about a second as we will be heading into Haven. God Squad having the upper hand right now. They will be looking to finish this off 2-0 and find their place in the group finals. But before any of that happens, here is the agent select.
All right. Get a check.
Okay,
Make sure that
there's some insta-lockers.
That was fast. All right, you're absolutely correct.
Yep.
Yeah. And the double initiator as well, with the Fade as well as the Breacher. I really like this because you do have the accompaniment of that fault line that can hit people to flush them out of corners when the Haunt actually does tag them. Even if you don't get the tag with the Haunt, you can always just put the fault line at the default position and then supplement it with the flashpoints. And that's really something that can just ruin your day. And in excess of that, again, you have Fishball with the Raze. So we're going back to the point where I say this comp is really good for set plays. So if ever there's some difficulties for them to get that map control spread out, they can always default to the safety of Haven set plays and look at that to win them some of the rounds.
Yeah, looking at the other side, it's kind of what I really thought was going to be transpiring down there. Not going to go for that chamber, it seems. You're going to have SK Rossi play on the Jet, give him his freedom to jump around, move around, whatever he wants to do. And Lightning Fast is going to be rescinding his role from the Raze to go back to the Killjoy. So they are playing a little bit, I think, on the retake heavy. Of course, with the Killjoy being there, they are on defense first. They're hoping that this Killjoy provides value. But the problem with this is that Killjoy ultimate can be taken out with a simple, aftershock. That is a really, really, well, I don't want to say, it's a disgusting advantage to have, because you invest 8, maybe, 4, maybe 5 rounds. You build up those orbs. You get kills. You die sometimes. You pick up one that's on the ground, only for you to put it down. All right, guys, we're going to win this round at the back of retake, just for that breach to open up his arm and just go, and then it's gone, right? Yeah. So their main motive right now has to be to either bait out that aftershock from the breach, or kill him right up front so that he's not going to be able to, destroy your utility, because that aftershock is insanely powerful to destroy Killjoy utility, be the turret, be the alarm bot, even the nano swarms, everything. It just gets shattered to nothing in that aftershock. And I really hope that, God Squad have a plan for this defensive half of Haven.
Yeah, I will say, though, some Killjoys now have actually gone for the suboptimal route and just placed that lockdown on positions where the aftershock won't get it, but that just means that the range on the lockdown won't be as effective as the optimal positions. Wherein, for example, that short one on the short sewers on A, where you put it down on the default spot and then it just covers the rest of the A side. You have to put it a little bit far back. So as you mentioned, the aftershock doesn't get the pick. But on this particular motive for at least God Squad, I'm looking at the other utilities of KJ, because at least that's really good in being able to just defend the side. I think more particularly here for B side, because if they're going to be afraid of those close encounters where they throw basically everything for the side of Reckoning, the nades from the Raze, the aftershocks to clear out the back of sight, all of that bonanza, at least Lightning Fast, can play very far back, activate the nano swarms, delay them a little bit further, and just let everything cool down here for God Squad. So at least looking at the other kits that KJ can bring to the table, it still does provide a really good defensive line that they can use to at least keep some of the sites here not as occupied by the members of God Squad, and just let the utility do its work, and just let them spread out a little bit even further.
Yeah. The one thing, though, that I would say, is going to be a little problematic for the side of God Squad is they can't do those coordinated pushes when Lightning Fast plays on that, Raze. So when he and SK Rossi couple up, and, God Squad love to do this, by the way, when they've got the Breach utility and they couple that with the Fade utility and they take, towards A main or C long. They do that quite a couple of times. They've done that in the past, but right now it's going to be only SK Rossi along with probably Kappa, who will support him. For the moment, it looks like it's going to be a C-side heavy execute for the side of RGE, as they are spread across both Garage and C-Long, and SK Rossi is heading in to challenge them.
He's not even priming up his dash yet, but he's gotten through the cubby. This is actually really good because he can just go back. And sometimes he's a little bit too presumptuous. Yep, there was another one that was peeking through, and Harsh was so much prepared for that. The flashes to delay, but it's not going to stop Reckoning. And to their namesake, the Reckoning is here. They've really gone aggressive onto C-Long. They spotted out SK Rossi and the rest of the defenders. Now it's down to Lightning Fast and the Fade here to try to come through. They do have this nice little pinch. Kappa's all the way through C-Long, but the problem is, there's that trap that's going to stop him dead in the tracks, and there's like 5 players that they'll have to deal with just the classics. I think the play here is just to play the exit frags, just, to wipe out the rest of the squad, maybe even get a couple of kills. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, Lightning Fast is going to hope for 1 triple burst kill to come through now. Fishball's a little too quick on the trigger, and with that, Kappa, he's just gonna be sitting here waiting for the spike to blow him up. Maybe one kill as a compensation. Nah, it's gonna be a flawless pistol for the side of RGE. As Harsh, what an entry from him.
This man is
Just two
goated.
taps. Just insane stuff. Like, how? No util even. He didn't even have any support. Just he's just walking by. He's jiggling, and then he finds one, and then two, and then the C site's opened up.
I feel like Chad is gonna murder me for just pointing this out, but or call me out on this. But SK Rossi did play a little bit too jittery in that one, just to peek out onto C long, where Harsh was very much prepared for his angle.
Yeah,
still though.
Fair enough. You know, he actually did push out without any utility, and given that God Squad actually had 3 players towards that C site and still couldn't hold it. The statement, the Reckoning are getting a little bit more prepared for this map as they were as compared to the previous one. For now, they've slowed it down a bit, expecting a shotgun push maybe from side of God Squad, and Skills baiting out for Lightning Fast, but I don't think he's gonna go in for this anymore. Fishball expecting it, threw in the grenade almost instantaneously after that kill, and now Kappa. Oh, he's got a shorty. And out he goes and just slaps it to the face of Fishball.
Catch them.
One weapon recovered.
I'll find you.
By the way, a big one. It's a Vandal, of course.
Oh yeah, they're just keeping eyes on it so that nobody picks it up. Hell Ranger, are you ballsy enough to try to get it? Oh, there's like 2 people marking him. He can't. All right, the aftershock just so that Zeke can finally retrieve that Vandal. Now they back away. They know that there is a shorty player here.
30 seconds
and
left.
since they don't really have, or maybe they are just going to go aggressive into this. I wonder if Rio does have, the haunt. I think they were just waiting for the haunt so that they can make sure that short isn't getting more value, but
wow.
2 kills on the shorty for Kappa. All right,
I take it.
That's pretty worth.
Spike planted.
We'll take those. SK Rossi now left alone in a 1v3 with a Marshall. Nothing more. Only need, that's 1 connect, but not enough. Get a kill. Stunned and pushed back. He's hoping for at least 1 more weapon to be dropped. Hopefully the Vandal. He's got 1 free shot onto at least 1 player at the moment. If he goes for it, not gonna happen though. Rio will find that kill as Reckoning put up 2 on the board, but here's God Squad preparing for their first buy round.
Whew. Yeah, just making sure. Again, no corner is safe when the raise is here. Just so much flushing capabilities. All right, so if you try to play cheeky, unless you're a chamber, or again, just somebody that can escape without getting mauled by the nades, it's not really worth it anymore just to play cheeky on there. Of course, granted, that was the round where they were just saving, they were just trying some things out, but now here is another test of skill. Coming into the B side, this is what I exactly was talking about. Lightning Fast can always just, again, fall back into his setup like this and ensure that he can lock down the site itself. So Nanoswarms will be coming out. If he can't, he gets peeked out by the Haunt, but still finds. Okay, that was cheeky. Fast. And he is still holding on the backside like a total baller. Zeke, last to remain.
He walks in straight to the smoke towards his death. The hands of Hell Ranger. That was a really scuffy round towards that B side, but Lightning Fast and Hell Ranger keep it closed and protected. That backside, he's just standing there alone, like, you know, like he's a Spartan. And he's like, all right, come to me, I got you. Takes down 2. Hell Ranger couples that up with his aftershock and kills 1 as well. Yep. With that, the first buy round successfully in their hands.
Again,
RGE, how are they going to respond to this?
This is kind of, you're kind of predicting what was totally happening with the setups and stuff. All right. Well, again, they do have a lot of ability to be able to flush out those corners, but this is also one of the things why I really also like the breach now on Haven is Fault Line just has so much area of influence. Look at where Hell Ranger is just placing his utility. If he sees something on short, he can blow it out. If he sees something on B, he can throw it out there. So right now, again, Reckoning is just I do really like this. They're trying to just throw a little bit of
Obscuring
utility,
vision.
see what the
Recovering
reaction is from their opponents. But
There.
the same could be said for God Squad. You saw that the Prowler was used on C-Long by Reckoning, and God Squad did the same thing on A. And SK Rossi, he backs away just in the nick of time. He has his teammate. He has his dash prepped up. This is where he becomes the most dangerous, when he has that escape ability in his pocket. Just not gonna make any noise, but I do like how they just dribble up onto short. Just find an angle where they can isolate a fight and see if they can get any more damage right in. Hellranger for the delay with the aftershock. Are they able to get through? His flash is sublime, but somehow Zeke still finds something. Very messy. And as the dust settles here a little bit, Universe, 2 versus 3. SK Rossi still has massive control into short, but there's Pixel to clear him out.
Yeah, it's pretty much done. RGE take the round with Pixels getting the final kill. Oh my god, that could have gone wrong in so many different ways. The triple push towards A short was such a good call. They took down Harsh, but the problem is that Fade Ultimate was available on the side of the attack. Yeah. And Zeke, even though he was blinded, flicks onto Hellranger's dome and just snaps it right off like it was nobody's business. I don't know how he got that kill. I'm pretty sure it looked like he was completely blinded, but
maybe he recovered.
We'll never know. We're going to have to ask him. But yeah, for now, God Squad, they are going to be on the lower end of economy weaponry last round. And Harsh is just constantly putting them down to the ground. There's another. Yeah, that's just patience rewarded.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good point to talk about right now. Harsh's kills have actually gone through, a lot of them have gone through because of just how aggressive God Squad have become. And he's just been at the receiving end of some really cheeky kills, to say at the least.
Of course, being the chamber, he is the one who's going to have to hold down the backlines. And he's still doing that. And he's going to have probably another free kill coming his way in the form of Kappa. Hellranger does have a Vandal to work with and a Flash as well, but it's not going to be of any use because they throw down that fault line. They even couple that with a gravity wall just to make sure that a Hellranger sees no light of day in that round.
Absolutely. And again, this control that we're seeing right now, it's so well orchestrated here for RGE. This isn't what we saw in contrast to Icebox. I think whatever they wanted to do there, they weren't really able to translate in terms of the execution. But here in Haven, there is a very stark difference of just being able to do what the hell they want to do.
True.
Now, skills has been put onto the C-Long display here. There's actually only one utility that they have to fear, and that's going to be the
oh my god,
scary bot. There's the push. All right, here we go. Oh, I love him. He went to the other side, but he dies to a nade of Lightning Fast, who's into the corner. Will actually get the kill regardless. The flash out. Oh, he is just in no chance, in no situation, position to even fight for himself because there's just so much ability being thrown out here by RGE. SK Rossi got the blades, finds the pick. No plant just yet. They back away first, but this is damn deadly from God Squad because, again, SK Rossi can always pop off with these blades.
Yeah, well, he still has a lot of work to do, and it looks like RG not too keen at the moment in challenging the backside. That recon is actually perfect. Here we go. SK Rossi finds the second, but not going to be able to capitalize upon the third. Harsh is a little too quick on his trigger today. It's up to Kappa. Oh, he sneaked in. This is going to be a problematic situation. He spots one and gets one, but Pixels, he's not going to be able to kill him. Pixels is not going to be exactly in the lineup situation that Kappa would have hoped it would have happened again from what we saw in the last game that Hellranger pulled out. And exactly as expected, there is a God Squad timeout being 1 and 5 down.
All right, I got to point this out. I really like what the Rays did there, going through logs rather than through the site itself. Because even if he didn't get the kill with the showstopper, right, it actually does two things. it's either he spots out where skill was and maybe gets the kill with the showstopper, or at least he knows where skill is to inform his teammates. But he got killed, or he got eliminated, excuse me, by lightning fast. So that means that there's another player on the site itself that the rest of his team can finally flush out with the rest of the utility. So even though he doesn't get the big value, he does what the duelist does, which is to get that entry information. You know, similar to other tactical shooters. So really good stuff there.
Even on the back of it, he got one kill from his grenade as well. I believe it was.
Oh,
yeah, he did. He found the kill, even though his showstopper didn't work too. I believe that Fishball did get one kill from his pain shells, and of course that again value, one man down, and that gives his team another round on the board. And this time, Harsh, he's picked up that tour de force, but there are two really big and powerful ultimates available on the side of the defense.
Let's play.
Hellranger is not going to be afraid to use it if at all his team go up in numbers in this round. Let's find out though. A heavy 8 commitment. SK Rossi with the Vandal. Is he going to expect somebody on top of this angle? No! What?
Okay, one for one. I'm pretty sure he... no. Yeah, okay. He really wanted to dash right in, but didn't expect that there was someone on sandbags there.
Yeah.
Sack, whatever you want to call that position. To just be holding the angle.
I think the flash was mistimed a bit. I think he expected the flash to come a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
And he dashed right about half a second earlier. And if that flash would have come sooner, I think SK Rossi would have gotten one kill there at the bare minimum.
Ooh, perfect angle, but it's just a little bit too shallow to get the headshot and flush out skills. I think he's just going to peek through on garage here, or yeah, grass, and then just flush out underneath of window now. Kappa picks up the Vandal immediately, throws out the util, gets spotted out. He's going to get challenged, has to back away, has to be a little bit cheeky. Hellranger can actually prime an ultimate now. There it is. Get the value with the Vandal, but no, he's too far. So this is just a delay tactic more than anything else. Can get away from the Aftershock, and they're really using a lot of utility for this. Is the gamble gonna pay off? I don't know. There's the Aftershock that we were talking about, man. Hellranger does get the shutdown, but there's plenty of time to plant that spike. 1 versus 3, and that is just perfectly executed by Reckoning.
This is probably the most valuable round that they could have found, bar none, in this entire first half that we've seen. Both the big ultimates that were available on the side of the defense were utilized in terms of time-wasting tactics so that they could just pull out the round. And now, the two ultimates that they would have hoped for, you know, round win conditions have gone down to being, yet again, regenerated. This is problematic because God Squad now have to depend on their pure aim and utility that they have, and these ultimates need a while to be recharged. Also, right, this is a difficult spot for God Squad to be in currently.
Just a little bit of utility is being forced out on them. I love how, again, Reckoning are just using their own little bit of utility to flush out certain here. The utilities of someone like Lightning Fast, but SK Rossi's just like, I have enough of this. I'm just gonna go do my own thing and keep challenging the peaks, and he's winning these. All right, he's not done just yet. Now he's done. Zeke finally shuts him down. 3 versus 4 as the round continues.
Fast, holding down towards garage, is gonna get cold. He's blinded as well. Only if they'd chosen to peek through, but they were stopped by Hellranger thanks to his fault line. Protects his teammate, and Harsh finds the kill onto Kappa towards A main. Operator singing pretty good duels, but oh no, he jumps straight towards Hellranger, not expecting a second player here. Skills teleported towards A as well, but Zeke will take care of him. Are they gonna expect Hellranger in this corner? No, they're not. Finds the perfect positioning, picks up the operator for Rossi as well, and Hellranger, thanks to his presence of mind, gets his team a round that honestly was really desperately needed for them.
I actually thought they saw him. Look, okay, we didn't see that one, but he actually was hiding in this corner just as the rest of those two players from Reckoning was just about to peek. So I thought that they saw the barrel, if ever. Well, apparently not. That's a definite, as you mentioned, great round from Hellranger overall. Kappa lining up the Haunt, destroying the other Haunt from the other side, and he's just going to use as many of his utilities to delay the push from Reckoning even further. Harsh. Ooh. That's disgusting. SK Rossi is going to push through on sewers here. He can actually have such a perfect flank on A long now. And he's brought it to the table, misses the shot, can still back away because, again, Hellranger does have eyes on A long here, so they can't really go for the biggest of pinches. Here's the updraft, aware that there's so many angles that he has to fight here. And will Reckoning push through on this?
What?
They will. And Fishball, exactly the expression I was hoping to get. What was that? He actually wants the fight to peek through the smoke.
That's not supposed to be possible. Hellranger clearly had the positional advantage, vision advantage. He should have gotten that kill, but Fishball survives with just about a little bit of his HP. And Reckoning have a lot to work with at the moment. They've got the Fade ultimate, they've got the Breach ultimate as well, and one of that is going to be taken out by Skills, who has been having a pretty unfortunate game so far. Teleports away, finds the second. Skills using his Omen kit to the best of its abilities. And even though the B-side has been taken control of, it is Reckoning on the lower end of numbers, which I think is going to be diminished further on thanks to SK Rossi. And now it's just Rio. One on his back. 10 seconds.
left.
Needs to get the plan instantly. Oh, but Kappa on the flank finds his counterpart. That is going to be round number 3 for God Squad.
Man, how does SK Rossi find these nifty little just slight angles to get that massive value on the operator? But this one was so cheap, as you mentioned. The bamboozle that Omen can just give you is so difficult, especially when you can play well around his smokes. It's really super difficult to deal with here. And after that one solid round from God Squad, they're starting to kind of bring a bit of momentum in their favor. So we're just experiencing a little bit of a technical pause here, guys. Just gotta fix a little bit, or a bit of the issues that is happening. But what's going to be the change up now from Reckoning? Looks like in terms of their position, they could be sniffing maybe an aggressive A take, because this time they do have the Rolling Thunder in their favor.
Yeah, well, I think I'm not quite sure, keeping all of that aside, I'm not quite sure if SK Rossi is misclicking his dashes, because we saw it even in the previous round, right?
Yeah.
He got the kill onto Harsh, he dashed straight up front towards the wall instead of going towards the left. So really hope that his directional senses of whatever keys he's using is, a little bit more sorted for him, because if he by mistake dashes towards the C-long position now, if at all they were to challenge him, which is not going to happen. But yeah, let's see whether or not this A-take is going to work out. 5-man A-take, it seems like, going to come through. Lightning Fast has his utility here, but there is a big bad ultimate coming through, which is going to throw them off their feet as well with the Breach combo. 2 flatlining ultimates, clears out the A site, and now a big post-land position to be played by RGE.
I would love if we saw Fishbowl
it.
actually get his orb just for that showstopper, but you know what? It's too much. It's too much. Yeah, same expression there as well. Where's that gonna go? Anyways, here's the retake. Lots of utilities being used already. Lots of the players from Reckoning not actually on the side itself, but they can't hear the defuse actually happening right now. They gotta start shooting. Oh, they stopped it. Okay, that's perfect. Lots of smokes. Seems like Reckoning is coming through. SK Rossi, but the push through sewers just destroys them even further. And Harsh finds it, shuts it, and that's going to be a solid round for Reckoning. So it looked good for God Squad there, but that push on sewers really shut everything down.
The most important part of all of this was the Astra staying alive. It was Pixels with that gravity pull, because like you said, they couldn't hear the defuse being stuck, right? But Pixels wasn't A short, and he could hear, I believe. I'm pretty sure he didn't get detected by it. And that gravity pull was the most important piece of utility that they could have used to get them off the defuse. And then came in the pushes from both sides. And all they needed was 2 ultimates to clear out that side, and the rest of it was all post-line utility, Azurite. And that's how good Reckoning are currently with their utility usage. They know how to restore it, how to keep it in hand, and when to utilize it.
This is a big risk for SK Rossi. Dash used up already.
Oh no.
Yeah, there it is. He was very much pressured to just get that peek off because he wanted to get the kill, dash away. And this time, Zeke was very much prepared for the shenanigans of God Squad. Now they have everything in terms of what they want to do in their pockets. They can take this as slowly as they can. They have so much time. Now, just utilities being thrown out. And, oh, the read is to go for C, but they've been circumvented. Everybody from Reckoning is looking for A. And he should be hearing this, right? The Fade should be hearing the rotation.
I'm not quite sure Kappa knows what's happening.
Oh,
they are expecting, because it is an eco, so they're gambling their, balls all into one pot. And out goes Fishball with his showstopper to no avail, but it still gets them the A-side control. I'd be really surprised if the side of Godsguard are able to, get anything out of this round, let alone the victory itself. With the Sheriff stuff they have, utility is not that great either on their hands. Let's see what they can pull out. Reckoning are not biting away from this side here, as right. They want to take the fight here.
Absolutely, they do. I like this. Smoke to isolate. Onto Bamboozle just a little bit. A fault line to follow through would be excellent right about now because Rio is alone. Well, maybe he does have Harsh with him. Now there it is. They try to fight. They try to battle. But this is just something that they cannot win. Kappa holding his own. Maybe hoping to get an extra frag. Maybe just stop him dead in the tracks. And he's getting a little bit of value. But Harsh is still here. If he dies, does he get a charge? Well, wouldn't matter because he would want to save that Vandal more than to get the Tour de Force. In any case, yep, I like the idea, but not enough in terms of firepower.
He's got the operator anyway in his hand, so he's not going to be too bothered about this. Plus, it is the last round, so all in this one. Let's see if the side of Godsquad are going to be able to hold up the seaside push. This time, Lightning Fast does have his utility position towards that choke point. But is it going to be good enough to stop Fishball from flying straight in? SK Rossi needs to find his first pick. It is paramount. But that smoke, that is so unfortunate. He did not click. He had his crosshair on Harsh. And now he's forced back to the back of side. And he's getting utility dumped upon him. And he's going to get Fishball just spamming him down. No way this is happening.
Play.
My God. All right. It's not done. The magic is not yet over. Tricks. Oh, that flash was dirty. Hell Ranger follows up with the second. It's definitely not over here for God Squad. Harsh, very much prepared for the swing. TP's out, and they're going to have to peek this, and he's nowhere there. Look at that. They're even committing the fault line. And again, as I mentioned, he is just not in that position, not yet exposed. Finds it up, finishes up with a beautiful hat trick with the 3K. What a way to finish the first half. My God, Harsh and Fishball, this tandem is so far propelled for Reckoning.
Amazing stuff, honestly. Fishball was just insanely good. Like I said, SK Rossi needs to find value. If he had taken that first shot that he did not click, Azurai, onto Harsh, I think this could have been a whole different scenario. But that smoke was so good. They just knew that it is going to be somebody peeking off that angle. That operator could be on that angle. And the minute that angle was smoked off, that pulled back immediately, that semi-smoke that we get thanks to Astra's retrieval of that orb, it was Harsh taking the better end of that angle. SK Rossi gets pushed off. He runs back offside. The grenade to push him even further. And that grenade forces him to go towards Garage, where Fishball spots him and is just jumping, vandaling his way through and finds a kill like, it's child's play. And then follows up with another towards Spawn as well. Amazing stuff from this first half of Reckoning.
Yeah, again, just such a big difference from what we saw from that Icebox. This one, you just know that Haven is their realm, is their map. There is just nothing that God Squad can really do, at least on the defense, that again, Reckoning are just not aware of. The operators from SK Rossi, sure, they were a hindrance in a couple of rounds, but somehow they managed to work against that now with the utilities that they've have,
As we just saw.
Yeah, you know what they say, work smarter, not harder. With this composition, they definitely can work smarter in this perspective. Now, this is where it gets a little bit curious because, again, 3-9 isn't the biggest of leads, of course, 6 difference, but there is always that swing that could happen. And how well can this composition or can Reckoning translate their defense from that offense that we saw from them when there is again that change of side pace. So we'll see how
True.
that goes.
Yeah, well, this composition from the side of God Squad was primarily going to be helping them on the defense because, of course, that Killjoy and Breach, being there does make it a lot more defensive-sided than, we usually have to see. But that defense hasn't worked out for them. And now they're going to have to rely on the fact that SK Rossi, along with Kappa and Hellranger, find value out of this. And they need this pistol as desperately as possible, even if it comes down to the last 1v1 with 2 HP. Whoever that person is, if it does come down to it, needs to clutch this round, or else we're going to go on to Pearl, and that's going to be a whole different ball game.
I really would love to see Pearl. It's a map that I don't usually cast on because it's still fairly new, and in our region, it's almost always banned now. So
yeah,
kind of sucks, but it would be nice to see that here. Now, just a quick look on that scoreboard of ours. Harsh is 17 kills here at Universe. He's been really stacking up a body count, and he's looking for more as he places himself on Sewer. The pixel angles just to be a little bit, again, on the cheekier side. But this is going to be a multi-peak. Let's see if he's good in that very stressful situation.
Oh, boy. Lightning Fast was almost about to eat a bullet and a half to his head there, but he finds the better of Harsh. And Zeke will trade back in the form of SK Rossi, who, by the way, alone on the B side range is a little questionable. I don't know why he's there all alone by himself while Kappa's actually taking control towards Garage. But look at this roundabout. Fishball's towards A main, but the problem is the spike has already gone past him towards A long. So they're playing a ring around the roses right now, while the side of Reckoning are still considering the C side to be a hit. Now it's on to Fishball. He is the main man in this full retake situation, and he's got to find his kill. Lightning Fast, who's going to find him with his back turned, and Kappa gets one as well. Make that a double!
Oh! He got sucked in by the seas. Now that delays his positioning even further. The double up for both of them. There's the beautiful flash, and Rio has only 2 bullets. It could have the name of Lightning Fast and Hellranger here, but unfortunately, he's not that quick. He's not that clean with his shots to make that happen. Again, the awkwardness of map control from Reckoning. This has just been... It's not the thing that really led to their loss in Icebox, but it has happened somehow awkwardly. Remember, it was... I believe it was Pixels when he was pushing on under tube, right, on Icebox that also led to that. So we're kind of seeing that showcase itself just a little bit here on Haven.
Yeah, well, let's find out if RG are going to be able to hit back in this anti-eco. SK Rossi did take bullet to his legs, but will he be able to succumb to more? No, Fish, but what? What did he just do? A collateral with the Sheriff towards A long. But Kappa will trade back in form of 2 with his own Spectre. Oh, man, I would have loved to see that. A collab on the Sheriff is something that happens ever so rarely, especially in a competitive game. Wait. Oh. Okay. That's unholy. That's not supposed to happen. The classic, and look at Pixels running straight back towards Garage, keeping himself safe. Doesn't care about the fact that he could pick up another weapon. All he needs right now is, for his team, the man advantage. And God Squad splitting up. I'm not quite sure if this is right now the best of calls to make. But SK Rossi is covering his way from B towards C. And I'm pretty sure, listens to all the sound cues that's happening around him. And there's 2 people on spawn that he can easily kill. And Hellranger, this is all upon him to make that sound cue of the plant coming down. That's only when RGE will believe that there's nobody towards the B side. And with that, it's SK Rossi. Exactly what was required. Gosh. Well played. And Pixels now left alone in a 1v2.
That was such a great bait from SK Rossi. Hellranger, dude, plant the spike, make that noise. I'll peek as you do. Look at that.
Exactly.
And everybody was just so focused on the site itself. They actually slowed down their push. Like, Reckoning slowed down and was actually already prepared to fight because they knew that somebody could be at B site, but they didn't really expect the, as you mentioned, a very risky separation with Hellranger and SK Rossi, and it paid off swimmingly for the God Squad team.
Now, God Squad still on 2 Spectres, by the way. Kappa and Hellranger, both the initiators, looking for those close range duels after they support their teammates to go up further. Currently, they're holding off their angles, and look at Harsh. He's pushed up pretty heavy, and he's got Fishball to his support as well towards a short. That is a great stun and a half from Hellranger. Pushes Harsh off of his angle, but he's still got another great off angle to, bounce back off of. A site might just be a fake, as you can see the God Squad members are rotating back towards Garage and B.
Bring them down.
Smoke's popping down. Just said pooping by mistake. Forgive me for that.
Bring them down.
But this B side is going to be taken control of by God Squad, and here we go. 5v5 retake.
Oh man, SK Rossi's pushing through the spawn here. Harsh is on the contact first. That's going to be a very important fight to deal with the forehand, but he actually holds off just a little bit because he doesn't really have to push too much right now. Still waits for it. There's Harsh. Okay, that finds SK Rossi. This leaves 3 of the players for God Squad to deal.
Oh no!
Yeah, that aftershock is just, it's good, but there's still so much time.
Yeah.
So that's just a great overall retake here from Reckoning.
There was time indeed, but there were 2 less players alive. Hellranger just had to go for that move to at least find some sort of value to keep them off of that spike, because it was a 5v2. What a retake from Reckoning, honestly. Amazing stuff. Pushing them off of their angle. Pixels holding Garage until the last moment so that he knows that nobody's going to try any sneaky business running into Garage, getting on top of Window and coming through to, find a dual angle to bait out the Reckoning players. And Fishball with that first initial kill, finding the entry onto the side, getting on top of Generator and keeping his eye across the entire land in front of B site. Amazing stuff, and Reckoning looks well in position right now to take us to Pearl here, that's right.
Taking that back.
Let's see how this follows through. Fishball has already just went straight back onto the A site, was afraid of the multi-peak that God Squad were trying to at least showcase here. Harsh finally gets a little bit of value. Oh, that is a cheeky peek from Fishball here. Throws out his Roomba just to dissuade any re-peekers from trying to readdress the angle. Escarossi now here once again, but Reckoning still have such a good amount of control for the A site. Don't even have any to flush him out.
Ooh.
And Fishball is just here once again. The chances for God Squad just dwindling even further. And Fishball, oh, I love that. I think Lightning Fast will think he actually booped himself to the other side. So he's still there into the corner. Nano Swarm gets peeked out. Okay, gets flushed out as well because of the fault line. But again, this is still a 4 versus 2. Not the easiest. And it'll be even damn near impossible to retake now that Hellranger is by himself.
Stuck in that smoke. It's only going to be helping him for a couple of more seconds. He will have 1 kill maybe to his name. No, not going to be happening. Harsh gets another 3K in the course of whatever he's been putting up all this while. He's on 22-8. The previous game, he was on 23-12. Now he's on 22-8 even before the game's ended. And this is an even better scoreline for him.
Absolutely. They are just menacing against God Squad here. We could actually get our wish now. I feel like this is going to go to a Pearl map, and that's where we'll see where the ultimatum is for this team. Obviously, because it's the last game of the series, right? But we'll see how this goes. The challenge from Harsh to see breaks through utility. Actually, no, I think that was recalled by Lightning Fast. Again, changes is if you break the turret, its cooldown is much longer than if you recall it. Anyway, SK Rossi.
Oh no.
Okay, he gets it. Another one, but Fishbowl is there in the corner to stop the punish against Zeke. They are just honed in here, Universe. Nothing to really stop Reckoning. Again, weaker weapons for God Squad overall, but you can really see that they just know what they're doing as of now. Nothing to really stop them. Hellranger finds 1 on the get-go.
Oh my god.
But Harsh immediately deals with it. Harsh is just, as you mentioned, so on point in skills. Okay, he has the he has a spike here, so a little bit of money, a little bit of charge. But that's about as well as it can really happen, unless he gets a 4v1 with a pistol.
Yeah, I mean it's the farthest of concoctions to unravel, but you can try for 1. about it. The plant is the most that he was gonna find, and he probably knew that himself. Tried his best, but match point here, ladies and gentlemen. Pearl looking like very, very, you know, in much this palette of tastes that we've had a little bit of a cold, icy game on Icebox, where the side of God Squad completely tore through the side of RGE, even though it seemed like a pretty close game. Here, RGE stepping it up so much that they're delivering pretty much the same scoreline, almost better yet if they win this round right here. And then we head on to Pearl, which is a map which is actually pretty much a stranger to both of these teams.
Okay, Rossi on the blades here. No quarter given as he just charges on short. The fault line giving him some access to it, but Skills and the rest of Global just making their presence known all throughout the map. And this is what I like. Not just isolating a certain angle, but everything being pressured right now just to see where the weaknesses of Reckoning do lie. This is one of the things that they really struggle on in Icebox, and, well, they're still banking on the fact, but Harsh. Harsh! He was so ready. He is so prepared.
You should run.
SK Rossi had to play a little bit of the Hariba cha-cha-cha just to get away from the shots, but it's not going to work. He gets boosted up into the air. If he gets that no-scope, that would have been absolutely glorious. Lightning fast coming in for the trigger. No aftershocks to actually destroy the lockdown here. The detain, maybe to bait Lightning fast to chase down a kill. Spots out Pixels.
Why?
He wanted to chase down that detain. You know he wanted to.
Yeah.
But that was just a false sense of security, and we're left with Hellranger. But he's got utility here. He's got a chance. He's got an angle. And they are lining up for him. The wall bang not connecting. And 3 bullets is all he needs to clutch the round and keep them afloat in this Haven map.
Well, Hellranger secures round number 6, and they're put in the same position where they had put their opponents in the last map, halfway across the world and more they need at the moment, if they're even thinking of making a comeback.
Right there.
It's quite a uphill task at the moment, given that the side of RGE are such amazing players on Haven. They've got so much control. They love this map. And of course, it is their map pick. Deservedly, they are looking forward to winning it. Unless God Squad have some of the greatest rounds played in South Asian history right here, right now.
Oh, this is perfect. If they can isolate that C-Long right now.
No, Harsh!
Out in the open! But Pixels, he's detained, or rather he's gotten so much control on Garage here, and he's not really done just yet. God Squad might have just overreached their hand, but SK Rossi finds that pick first. That gives him a bit of breathing space in this 3 versus 2. Oh, I love this. He readdresses the angle. Doesn't get spotted. Finds 2.
Oh, no!
He needs to hit some shots here. He doesn't know one is coming through on C-Long, but that doesn't matter first. It has to be Rio here and now. Backs away. He gets the shot. He has a dash, if I'm not mistaken. And now he can just dash right into the face. There it is. Fishball, SK Rossi. He was so afraid, didn't know the timing. And Fishball gets it, gets the win. And we are going to Pearl.
Well, I really thought SK Rossi had that in the back. I thought he was going to get the ace. Pixels, what an amazing hold on to Garage. He let the players pass by. He finds 2 kills with their backs turned. And then a third as well on, the back end. But eventually, SK Rossi played along with the minds of his opponents, dashed right back to the side, came back to Garage. That ultimate from Fade did not affect him. Little bit strugglesome finding the initial first duels over there. Still stabilized, but only for him to fall to Fishball's reign of terror, which he's been doing amazingly. A game that honestly RGE deserved to win with the way that they played, both on attack and on defense. Insanely good stuff. Strategized, executed, held the team pretty much in sync together, and overall exceptional performance, and they are pretty, serious about taking this all the way.
Yeah, it was very meticulous on just what we saw from Reckoning all throughout that entire game. But again, this just means that we are going to go for Pearl. This is very exciting to witness here, and I'm actually now curious who's going to be the MVP for this second game. But I think without a shadow of a doubt, it has to be Harsh. He's just been
Yeah, I mean,
so good.
previous game 23-12, this game 26-10. He's got 49 kills in 2 games. This man is on fire, and he's going to a map number 3 where I'm pretty sure he's going to be picking the chamber yet again. And on Pearl, if he's sitting on that B site, they got to be careful, God Squad, because with the operator, this guy can clearly cause some pretty serious damage. And so far, he's got a lot of confidence, because we saw how many times, also right, did he go towards that C long, peek out like, it's nobody. He didn't need utility. He didn't need anybody's help. He's standing out in the open, ready to take fights as they come. And that's how strong right now he feels about his aim. That's a scary thing if you're God Squad right now. I would be worried because of the next map.
Yeah, gotta say. But I will also have to point this out that Pearl is a map that I think, if we compare it to the 2 previous games, is a little bit more akin to Icebox than it is to Haven. So we could be looking at maybe some discrepancies or discourse for Reckoning here with how they're going to play retakes or pushes. We've seen that happen in Icebox. It could happen here on Pearl. But another thing that I am looking forward to seeing in terms of at least the agent pickups would have to be also the Sages. I think Sage is a really, really good particular agent here if you're not really comfortable trying to challenge certain angles on Pearl. So we could see, again, some switch-ups in that particular pickup for these teams. But this is something to definitely watch out for here. And obviously going to be have to be the Viper.
Yeah. So between these 2 teams, Pearl has been played a maximum of 1 time. That is the side of God Squad, who played it against Metal Esports recently. But they've only had only one, lineup that they've tried, because of course they played only the once, which is Astra, Chamber, Fade, KO, and Viper. A no duelist comp on this. Interesting compositional play from the side of God Squad, given that they have, of course, SK Rossi playing on the Chamber. But Reckoning, to this date, have not played a competitive game of Pearl. We'll see how it goes, but let's have a look at the MVP of this game. Of course, it has to be Harsh, deservedly, again, with a 367 ACS and 26 kills to his name. This guy is on fire.
Absolutely. Just same caliber of just a star player, no fear, all confidence, just absolutely wrecking God Squad with whatever they wanted to do. We saw that at the very start of the round too, where he was able to shut down both SK Rossi and Hail Ranger in less than 3 seconds and opens up the C site. That was the start of the running of rounds. I think we saw like 7 straight rounds before before God Squad could even respond in their own terms. So Harsh has been such one of the key players to definitely watch out for in this particular game. And honestly, aside from him, gotta also give it to Fishball. Aside from Fishball just having just such a magnificent aim, it's his IQ with how he uses his utility and his positioning overall that I think the rest of Reckoning can really feed off of. And we really do see that with how they push into the sites, where it feels like there's no position that the players of God Squad can play that will never be flushed out by Fishball.
Yeah, that is true. That raise utility is just so annoying to deal with, especially with the damage that it provides. And of course, with, it pushing people back, detecting people with that boom bot. It's just, Fishball had such an amazing impact. And of course, his kills were just as good as well. His entries were so good. Him finding that, entry on towards that C set, as you mentioned as well before as well. How many times did he just fly straight in with 1 grenade and 1 boom bot, and he found the entire side empty all to himself just by those 2 pieces of utility? Insane stuff. And of course, you couple that up with the way that Harsh has been playing with his utility, I mean Headhunter, and of course the Tour de Force finding so many kills. It's just amazing stuff from RGE, especially these 2 players who carried their team to an amazing victory. And now they go to a land of water above them, which is unknown, which is a little bit strange. and which is probably going to be a little bit dark in the end if they don't find their way through in the first couple of rounds. We will be back, ladies and gentlemen, with the third and final map of this series. Will God Squad take this one, being a little bit similar to Icebox, as Azrai just said, or will Reckoning find their first competitive play on Pearl to be their victory? We'll be back in just a bit.
And we're back again, guys. My name is Asteroid. With me now is Universe, and this is the continuation of this best of 3 series between God Squad and Reckoning. And can't wait. It's going to be Pearl, man.
Yeah, Pearl is a well, let's just say an interesting map that has really interesting discrepancies across its entire region, right? The A side, a really interesting, outcome of the way that it's played. A choke point towards that A main, really tiny, but then we've of course got art the way that it moves as well, right? And then the B side is exactly like how you would expect Icebox to be. Wide open, far out, you can get that control. But if you have an operator facing off against you, it's going to be troublesome as long as you are able to counter it with some utility. But both these teams have now come down from a best of 3 to a glorified best of 1 on Pearl, which is going to be deciding the fate of one of these teams moving in further. At this point, Azurai, I am actually not confident about who's going to go through because both these teams have shown, pretty amazing approaches so far on 2 different maps. And now we're going to a map where we've got zero knowledge about how they play or how they will play. So I'm just here to enjoy the game rather than, expect something.
Yeah, we shouldn't cast anymore. We just watch and... No, I'm kidding, obviously. That just means that we could be looking at a double initiator comp with a controller. That's going to be the basis, I think, of what is right now I don't want to call it meta, but the standard picks of agents, because if you have because of how the sites are designed here for Pearl, you usually need at least 2 initiators to make sure that you can start clearing out corners and getting information as you push into the site. And then a controller, I think the most optimal here would be Viper or Astra, because Astra you can immediately just throw out 3 particular stars, flush out, if not just smoke positions there, of course the wall for the Viper, so on and so forth, and then just whatever kind of flavor you want for the other 2 agents. But again, I'm looking at those 2 particular initiators. But when you mentioned again that fight with God Squad and Metal Esports, we do see the double initiator come out from Hellranger when he played a KO and Kappa as the Fade here, so we could be looking at that. But with the changes as well to initiators, like I said, at the start of the stream with KO and Sky not really too bad of an option here as well because of, just being able to heal. Seekers are still a solid thing. And the flashes, even though it's not good for herself only, for teammates, it's actually still as potent as it was before.
Yeah, and of course, she's probably the only proper agent ability who can fake flash as well, right? One of the best fake flashes is that, dreaded bird flying across your screen and you turn around and no, you got a bullet at the back of your head, just, without it. And like, okay, I got jinxed. But hey, Sky is of course, a pretty interesting pick here. I'm going to wait and see whether or not, they're going to be picking it, either team. On Pearl, so far, as much as I've seen, people usually have that, Viper, of course, like you said, Viper or Astra, if Astra for that extra bit of utility as a pseudo initiator, if, they want to have that gravity ball and of course the stun. But I believe that with the way RGE are playing, they are definitely going to let Fishball take that. If not the Raze, I'm pretty sure he has to take the Jet, because I think the Jet is going to be really, a viable option on this map, because then you have the ability to have 2 people get into that operator position if at all they want to go for it, right? But yeah, I'm just gonna let out all sorts of theory crafting out of the window, because whatever I do right now is just gonna be me repeating stuff about what we can see, what we will not see, and we've actually not seen anything on Pearl. So let's just Pearl right there. Let's just adore it. See how this map is going to turn out between these 2 teams as the final game of survival. And who is going to head into that final stage of this group? We'll find out to face off either one of Lethal or Revenant, which is going to be another banger of a game coming pretty soon to our screens.
Yeah, I will say, though, I feel like there's also another or 2 particular duelists that could really get some value here. One of, obviously, is the Reyna. Another one is the Yoru.
Yeah, Yoru, of course.
With the recent patch changes, again, you mentioned how Reyna's Leer just got a little bit faster with her Leer. It is the same thing with Yoru's. Gosh, I don't play Yoru, so I don't remember the name of his flash. Anyways, Yoru's flash has gotten a little bit more love as well. I think it has a faster pop out point. So, and of course, because of that great crash, there is a lot of ability to just get cozy in the back of sites without people noticing when you have so many utilities being thrown by your other teammates. So there is a possibility, although I'm not sure about the data if Fishbowl actually plays it, if SK Rossi has plays it in competitive, because we only see him with the Jet and the Chamber. But this is something that is definitely a pocket strategy that could be used, and I feel like has some really good merit and opportunity to be seen here in Pearl.
Yeah, one of the teams that actually do use Euro is Riot Esports, and that's Paradox, one of their players who's really proficient on that Euro on Pearl. They're actually the ones who introduced that meta into the South Asian region. They're the ones to experiment with that agent here on Pearl, and they're pretty good on it. They know how to utilize him. Because Paradox, is one of those explosive players who can do it really well, and I think that Fishball is pretty on a similar stature to him. I think with the way that he, settles himself in a game, he's calm, but at the same time, he knows how to use his explosive potential. So we'll find out whether or not, that Euro is going to come through. I would love it. I know the audience would love to see it. He, of course, is not one of the most favored duelists out there, but when he does come onto the server, he does have either the best impact or not so much, but we'll find out. Agents actually coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go into it.
All right, let's see what we got.
Okay.
All right.
We've got a Raze and a Sage as well. All right, this is interesting. We're not going for the Chamber, it seems. Okay, a double controller, rather, for the side of RGE. Might I add, this is going to be a little...
What agent is that? Leaked. Oh yeah, sorry. Excuse me. What were you saying?
That is that's the new Indian agent. That's Harbor, right? That was Harbor, but just skills in the form of Harbor. Either way, pretty distinctively different compositions, as you can see here, Azurai. We've got a double controller one side, no Chamber, and on the other end we've got a KO and Chamber, and coupled that with a Fade and Astra as well. And Lightning Fast, I'm not quite sure what agent he's going to be picking. What duelist could he be going for? Or is he also going to be going for a controller to match up?
Could be a Sentinel, even it out with...
Oh,
okay, I eat my words. Yeah. All right. No duelist for God Squad here.
Yep.
But I was right that there was the Sage, at least from Zeke. So they are banking on the fact that they can have that safer plant with the wall, similar to what we see in Icebox. Fishball, I think, as you mentioned, again, has really proven that his Raze utility is just top notch right now. So going back into something like a Jet really isn't as fruitful. And again, you do get so much value with a bit of that. But what I did not expect was the double controller compared to the double initiator here. Well, I mean, God Squad did go actually both ways. So I'm very much excited to see how they translate that into the rounds.
I'm there, on one hand, you've got the potential of an operator functioning in the hands of SK Rossi, of course. But on the other hand, it is a little, tricky for the side of RGE to exploit that, because we've got a Harsh this time on the Astra, which is, of course, not something that, we're accustomed to seeing, at least across the last two maps that we've seen. He has played that Chamber to proficiency, and now he's got a lot more utility, a lot more handwork that goes in with... not killing people, but rather allowing his teammates to kill people, right? So he's going to be in the air. He's going to be in his astral form quite a bit of the time. And I hope that this works out from RG, because I'm concerned for both sides at this point. No duelist for the side of God Squad could prove to be no dive agent. And especially on that B side, it's going to be a little difficult, because you might want somebody, who can dash in through or even teleport through or whatnot, or slide through. But on the other end, you've got no operator potential who can, teleport as quickly as the Chamber, or, dash away as the Jet. So I really hope these guys have got what in store. Two very distinctive compositions, really different playstyles probably going to be coming up, as we will see, ladies and gentlemen, in the final map of this series. Azurai, well, I'm not going to ask you who do you think is going to win. I'm rather going to ask you, do you think Harsh is going to have the same impact now that he's on the Astra?
That's a difficult question to kind of answer, but I will say that he does have the utility to make it very hellish for post planters to challenge or to start defusing that spike, because he's the Astra. He can always just put one star on the spike itself, activate that gravity well, and just put them into a position where they won't really be as comfortable challenging now. So that makes it much easier. As I mentioned, if it's going to be at B long, it's such a it's just a long corridor where your aim is just going to be tested. If it's going to be A, you're just going to be flushed out onto A main and he shoots you straight up. There's a lot of things that Harsh can really do utility-wise that that can really bring him to such a really good elevation in terms of, again, that utility. Now, the question therein lies, is he as confident playing as that rifler when he doesn't have that TP anymore? Because, yeah, exactly, right? Because usually you do see him be that aggressive when he has that TP to fall on, but what happens when he doesn't anymore? Again, I haven't seen much of South Asia to know how well Harsh plays when he is off of that chamber, but this is a way for us to know how he does.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty much in the same boat. Even though I've seen Reckoning play quite a couple of times, Harsh on the controller, he's played a couple of different roles for the team, of course, but on the controller is something, on the Astra especially, such a utility-heavy agent is something that I've seen pretty rarely. So we'll find out in just about a couple of seconds how this all ends up, transpiring. But for the moment, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell icon, because this is one of the biggest events that you're going to see of Valorant in the South Asian region. So if you want every single day updates, which is going to be happening for the next month almost, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, follow Galaxy Racer on all of their socials, Instagram, Twitter, to stay updated with what's happening and what is going to be happening. But for now, here we are on the final map of this best of 3 as the side of God Squad tried to take down RGE and vice versa for that spot in this group grand final, and hopefully for a spot to take themselves to that big LAN happening next month.
Now, this is something I always like to also mention, that Raze also works as some sort of initiator in her own right because of the boom bot. Yeah, right. SK Rossi, he can't really hide here anymore with crouching, so I still really do like that he positioned himself quite well in that angle. I actually thought he got flushed out by Fishbowl, but no. Okay, that's good. Pushes back into the 4 versus 5. They wait for the wall to come drop in, but this is lightning fast and SK Rossi on this swing. And speaking of which, they're actually still pretty healthy, both of them. But they've kind of just went back just a little bit. Lightning fast. Has the wall once again. Can they plant? Is it enough? Oh, it's enough. They've actually pushed way far back into the back corridors just so that, but they can't really plant first. Kappa finds it. There's so much confusion happening. Has the haunt, can line it up. The wall's still up, but that snakebite is delaying them. And that one segment where he can plant safely is being broken. So now they're back to square number 1, while there's one big flank coming in from the KO, as you can see right there for Hellranger. Not really much that Reckoning can do unless Harsh finds Hellranger, and then they can maybe back up and go A or something, but they've just decided to go for B. This is going to be terrible.
One enemy
They go in for the fight, and Harsh actually finds 2. Okay, still keeping himself relevant, and he's got about 50 HP. Now he knows there's a backstab as well. And skills pretty darn low on his HP. He spots him out. He needs the plan to go down right now. Takes the shot. Oh my god. Harsh. 7 seconds. 6. Goes for the plan. Gets the fake out, but skills. He swings out wide. And he gets the kill onto his counterpart. What an intense round that was, Asrai. That could have gone so many different ways, but the way that RGE went straight into the side, challenged it, forgot about the flank. They didn't even care about Hellranger coming through. Actually helped them because Harsh found 2 kills thanks to his teammates being alive next to him. But in the end, it was kills with that 13 HP clutch.
That was so unfortunate for the start for Rio, though.
There.
Headhunter does, what, 50 body damage per shot? So that meant that he went straight all utility, I think. So he had only 100 HP. Ouch. They really needed, like, 5 people to push that. This is the dangers of Pearl as well. Even if you have a duelist, it's the Raze, so you don't really get that explosive entry that you're kind of hoping for, because if you do, you're just far too flung for the rest of your team. There's no safety after, right? But anyways,
Yeah.
I'm mumbling here.
Look at the map control, though, that is being taken by the side of God Squad. They're not letting them even touch mid, let alone peek it. And they're forcing them off of their angles, and they're going to have to go towards B because look at that mid aggression. A triple man mid push. And they've probably cleared off this A side. They probably know that this is a B hit for all it matters. And SK Rossi keeping himself disciplined, waiting for his teammates to come through and hoping that only one kill would suffice for him right here. But so many players have actually crossed by him. He's got no idea that they're already on the back of side. He's considering the possibility, and he's probably called out to his teammates. The plan should be going down as Hell Ranger on the backstab is going to find the kill that he required. The plan will go down irrespective. And now, this push towards spawn will find Fishball 1.
Remaining.
But SK Rossi is too quick with that classic.
It's down left now to Rio. Well, if he can actually get them closer against them, he might have some fight in him with this classic, but now they're just corralling all around and just charging at him. No chance. No chance for that classic to get some primo value. He's going to get the charge here. Yeah, they could give it to SK Rossi. He has picked up so many kills, and he still has time. Yep, there it is. Yeah. Get him closer to that to tour de force, you know. 2 more charges, and he got himself that ultimate.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're hoping for. 2-0. Good start for the side of God Squad on this map of Pearl. And now it's up to RGE to make that statement round in this buy round that they've got. Got the weaponry that they require, but not to forget SK Rossi himself has that operator in his hand. He is playing a glass cannon, but being the chamber that he is, all he needs is one shot and teleport away. He is the only one taking care of that A side at the moment as a mid-heavy contention looks to come in for the side of God Squad. This B site being protected by skills. He almost eats up those bullets. Somehow gets away. Fishball spamming in the right direction, but his bullets just did not connect. Now a triple stack on B. And God Squad await the presence of RG towards the other sides of the map.
Yeah, and just showing some bit of firepower on B long here, and because they can't really peek deeper onto B long, B hallways, whatever you want to call it, RGE do have some time to just go all the way back and maybe go for that push onto A, but they've really slowed the pace down here. I wonder why. Maybe because, as you mentioned, of the fact that SK Rossi is somewhere here with an operator, so they have to at least do due diligence and just start clearing things out. I wonder if that thing's actually going to destroy the TP.
Oh,
yeah, that's super huge, because now SK Rossi is on an island and they find Kappa. So he has to run away by himself. Still hits the shot, beautifully executed. In the back of things, he does have the KO with him. And they have a solid defense with Hell Ranger supplementing SK Rossi. He's getting flushed out by the snake bite, but it still might not be enough. Oh, okay, never mind. They're clearing things up here. Lightning fast.
One enemy
Trying to slow the pace down, but RGE forcing their hands. Will they save that operator? Take it. You know you want to. There it is. No. They did. Didn't they?
No, they dropped it back down. Zeke just threw it right back down. They don't want to hinder, I believe, the speed that they could play with if at all, that operator comes in. Because I don't think there's anybody else who can play the operator apart from Harsh or Zeke. But then even Zeke has to be the sage who, runs in for that wall towards the plant, right? So Harsh is the only one who could play, but again, he's playing the Astra, so no, running off potential over there. Let's see how they fare off again towards this B side. Fishball allowed to cross by. Skills yet again pressured. That wall is really troublesome. That Viper wall from both ends, which actually is pretty close by. Both of them have a really similar wall. The defense and the offense.
Could say it's making X. An X on the map.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where the Astra Stars are popped as well.
Oh my god, if they try to push through that. I mean, if they can bait the Astra Stars, that's great, right? But Kappa. Oh, they just barely miss each other. And look at that, he's backing away all the way to spawn. And because he's so slow.
Yeah, he sees him.
Oh, wow. Timing. But now this time, it's in the favor of Reckoning.
You are divided.
They still haven't bought this fake, though, that I think they would have expected to sell, RGE. Fishball on top of the generator here. The plant goes down as there are a lot of utility being dumped on towards RGE. Lightning Fast swings out with skills to find 2 kills of his own. And now there's already a defuse being stuck. They're trying to bait out utility. Harsh is throwing down his stars, but SK Rossi is lining up the stars for himself and his team. 2v4. What can Rio do here with 40 HP? The smoke is down, protects him all around, and God Squad will find their 3rd round.
Wait, I actually got a little bit confused there. How did Fishbowl actually get dropped from his position? Because he was the Guardian on top of board there that was supposedly gonna at least help his teammates stop that push from the Cosmic Divide from happening.
There.
I believe he got detected by the Fade Recon at first. I'm not quite sure because I'm pretty sure something, you know, was glowing around him for a second. And I think that's exactly why I think he decided to jump down and got pushed off, because otherwise they would have just spammed him right through if they came to the Astro Wall.
That's true, but he definitely was a key factor in just saving his teammates for the post-fight, because you saw there, like, 2 of them were just, what is happening? We need somebody to help us fight this, but we're just so caught out in the open that the retake for God Squad was just so damn perfect. Anyways, Kappa here, really peeking that? Oh, there's so many targets, but he is just,
Spike down.
all right, he is ready for it.
Nobody actually connected their shots to Kappa's skull, and that's exactly why they lose his own life. Lightning Fast spotted him out. Try to be a little cheeky there, Pixels. Not gonna work in his favor. Harsh will walk straight towards Kappa. Finds a 3rd for himself as 4-1. A pretty solid start for the side of God Squad here, and RGE struggling, and hence comes the timeout.
Yeah, they definitely need to get this timeout here. This is the problem against that double controller. Just so much utility that is just toxic to try to deal with. You have to bait out the stars, but how do you even do that when you know that God Squad aren't really going to be phased? If you try to just throw out a haunt or something, unless you really sell the fake, commit a bit more of your utility and really force it out, there's nothing you can really do other than just to force yourself in on that. And they've been trying to muddle their way through the God Squad utility for these past couple of rounds, these past 5 rounds actually, and it hasn't really made any big strides. And you kind of see that happening from Reckoning. Even though wherever they want to go, they try to go for mid, Art, or Bialy. It's still, what's the word here? It still doesn't really force out what they kind of want for from God Squad in terms of utility, and it's really frustrating them, I think. As you can see with how they've been pushing, they've just been getting more reckless and aggressive, just hoping that maybe they can breach the defense, but it's not really happening here, Universe.
Yeah, it hasn't happened, and I think that you know, the confidence and the utility that the Raze provides, that Fishbowl provides, isn't flying as much as they would have expected, right? Because this being such a big map is comparison. The Raze, okay, the minute I say it, Fishbowl finds it. Thanks for shutting me up, my friend.
Through the wall, through the smoke. Well, through the small wall of the smoke, right?
Yeah.
How did he find him though?
I
think he.
No idea.
Same here. Well, maybe if we have a POV replay, we could see that later on, but not this time. I still do have to respect that Reckoning isn't really afraid to split up the rest of the team and start getting the map control. I really am not a fan of like 5-man pushing anything on Pearl, because it feels a little bit suboptimal. That's going to be a huge one. Hellranger's so close. He wants to go for that repeat. He hears the reload. They're backing away. Oh, just in the nick of it. I don't know if Pixels actually saw that Hellranger's pushing there. If they slow push on A, he could find maybe a couple of kills, but they are just going to breeze through this. Skill's going to delay them just a teeny tiny bit, but Fishbowl has already cleared the side. This is what we want to see from the entry fragger of Reckoning. Just so much information garnered right of now.
Skills is in such a position, but no! Zeke! He sees him through and he gets that kill. That is such good awareness of positioning. Harsh goes back for Hellranger's flank, and RZ finally will recoup what they have been waiting for all this while. A little bit of control. That fake sold perfectly. That mid push from the side of God Squad was a little questionable because they had the Viper split active, right? Towards that mid region near double doors. And they just decided, okay, you know what? We're going to just leave it here. And the three of us are going to push in. But even that push was discoordinated because Lightning Fast went first. Hellranger walked and came in second. And by the time he could even see somebody, Pixels just ran away. And that was it. That was the end of the round right there.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff there from Reckoning. And again, it just goes back to the fact that they have to force utilities to be placed elsewhere or at least used up by God Squad to really have something working for them, whether it's this map or any other map, right? Because it's so difficult to just try to go through to control your utility and just get shot through the smoke, if ever. Any case, again, that was just one solid round from them. And of course, they had so much utility to throw out in that direction as well. What do they have now that it's a much slower pace than what they're hoping for? Kappa, as well as the Viper here, really lining them things up. And Fishball just can't find a break. Do they have a heal? Yes, they do, because of Zeke. Rio finds something through Art here. And this slow A push, or mid push, excuse me, is bearing fruit for Reckoning.
Well, Skills is going to make sure that nobody is coming in towards that A main, trying to make funny business. But look at Hellranger's positioning. This could... Oh, he spotted him. I don't know if Pixels saw him. Pixels didn't see him. And Hellranger is going to have to hold his own by his own. He gets two. And he's probably done enough for his team to rotate back. And he's got Lightning Fast in that site now. Lightning Fast is playing this really well. But now they know that he's towards his left side, and they're going to try and spam him down. Gets away, and that Astro Wall, amazingly done. To counter it comes the Viper's Pit. There's a lot of counter utility being utilized by both of these teams. Oh, they didn't see that person on top. Skills, his feet are seen. Why is somebody checking it finally?
Oh, why? Why would he shoot through that? He didn't even hear the plant yet, but maybe it's just because Lightning Fast and Kappa have actually positioned themselves in this crossfire, and now that's the beautiful part, because Harsh can't really do anything unless he's such a god that he hits the first shot and then 180s it. So maybe that's why he actually shot through. Skills, never mind. You're an absolute genius. Hellranger's Molly there, a little bit too shallow. As you saw, there was like that teeny tiny bit of space in the back that the rest of Reckoning he could use to chase that kill. Yeah. Man, these rounds are just going down to the absolute final trenches here, just because of how so much utility is being thrown out from either side.
Yeah, oh, utility dump. A little bit of a misfire with that slow orb. But Skills is actually taking a little bit of an aggressive positioning. The Astros are going to be facing off of each other towards that aim in position. They're inches away. But at the moment, Kappa, he's the one who's probably going to find action coming his... Oh! Skills got the better end of that duel. Puts down Harsh to 8 HP, and now he's going to have to play safe. Kappa needs to get one kill here, but he's going to lose his life. And Fishball, out comes the Boombot! Not expecting a double peek there. And Hellranger with that ultimate is just going to hold on this attack at bay.
They're not really trapped here, as you can see. But they force back the rest of the attackers. Such an awkward spread for God Squad. But this awkward spread could actually be really good, because these are off angles that I don't think Reckoning would really be aware of. I would love to see maybe a re-hit on the A side, but that's not really the way or the name of the game.
30 seconds
Lightning
left.
Fast uses a little bit of utility from his back because of that trademark. He now knows that there is a couple of people on the alley here. 20 seconds in the hands of Reckoning, forced. Either they push or they save. Here it comes. The Hellranger. Just
Spike
such a
down
solid
A.
position. Nothing that he can really do. And
10
Harsh.
seconds left.
Yeah, he's gonna get spotted too. Now they know they could actually chase if they're thirsty enough to maybe get that weapon out of his hands. Never know, but that just means that this is a round that God Squad will be taking.
Yeah.
Oh,
Came a
man,
little
almost
too close for comfort. Harsh would have probably gotten that kill. But either way, RGE are in the trenches right now. They
I got
have
enough
their
time
work
to
cut
go to
out
the
for them.
Astro
That one round where they took control towards B, found that first initial kill, and then instantly went towards A, worked out only for the one time. After that, it's just been such an, difficult task for them to keep these God Squad players at bay because they're pushing up everywhere, aren't they? God Squad, every time they find a little bit of space, they've got a player going straight through. And that's just being such a problematic thing for RG to handle because they just somehow are losing their players to these gunfights that they should be winning ideally.
Hesitation, I think, is one of the biggest things here because you really do see Reckoning here just hoping that maybe they can stop the push of God Squad, or maybe they can get that map control, but it's not really working out in their favor. Man, this position is so strong now for defenders because it's such a wall-bangable spot, and since Lightning Fast does have those snake bites, he can always just use it to delay them even further. And look at this, Hellraiser. Ew! Okay, never mind. I bring it all back. Zeke! He's opening up by himself here, Universe. I was going to say they were just like caught a rock in a hard place, and now on a weaker buy, they bring it all back because they just did. I'm speechless. I'm just absolutely speechless.
Spike planted.
Oh boy. I don't know what happened there.
Oh my
God Squad
God.
had them tucked into that little B corridor.
Yeah.
They literally had them, they had a circumference around them from every single side. Towards the B side, towards the mid region. But these guys just fought their way through. And Zeke, I don't know how in the world that guy got away with 2 kills with that sheriff, dude. No way.
Oh. Sorry, something was playing in the background. I didn't know what it was. But anyways, I can't answer that either, man. It's just, that was so weird. But you know what? Reckoning, if it's weird, if it's good, if it works, why not? SK Rossi. Ah, okay. That flushes him out. Now they know you're there. Oh, this push! Could have gone either way. I like the cheekiness of the challenge, but man, God Squad, one of those teams, one of those players who just thrives in the chaos of it all. And speaking of which, they're here to fight. You know what? You ruined us in that last round. We're gonna ruin you in this one. But as I say that, the comeback is real. 2-1. Z can even get himself an orb and even get a res just to make sure, because SK Rossi here, still a very deadly opposition to just try to go up against. He does have the operator in hand. Makes it difficult to go for the 1 versus 3, but this man has showcased that he can make that happen even with the sniper.
Yeah, they're really careful about every single angle that they're going to be approaching. SK Rossi is actually not convinced that this is going to be an A hit. He thinks that they might bamboozle him, but that trap being destroyed gives him enough information. The wall goes up towards mid. The plan will go down on default. And now it's a 1v2 with an operator in his hands and the world to fight off against. What is he going to try and do? I'm pretty sure now they know. They probably heard the sound cue of his footsteps coming in from spawn. Can he find the value? He doesn't check the corner, expecting somebody to be towards A main before he even looks towards his left side. 6-4. RGE make up for a little bit of the loss that they've suffered in the first couple of rounds. 6-4 is not that bad after, being 5-1 down.
Absolutely. The barrel of the operator, man. Is that an operator battle? Is that an operator battle, or are you happy to see me? You know what? Chamber is one of those agents that actually just suffers from having too long of a weapon. His ultimate, his operator, and even his headhunter at times actually just peeks out in awkward angles and actually gives up his position. And I'm not kidding you. This has happened in a lot of other games that I've casted as well.
Yeah, that's really, true. Chamber does have his own disadvantages, but for the moment it's Skills who's going to be going down, sitting in an off angle, expecting he would be able to find at least one. Not going to happen. A free ace sight available to the attackers as Lightning Fast will try and stop them maybe for a bit. The wall will discourage him from doing so, as Fishball is looking for more avenues to exploit.
Three for me.
Clean, calm, collected. finds the 3K. Hellranger will
One
get a
enemy
trade
remaining.
back, but Pixels will take care of lightning fast in that little spawn of time. As the IGL of God Squad now left to defend himself towards mid. A cheeky off angle. Do they expect this? No, they don't. Pixels will fall. Another weapon dropped. Economy is in loads for the side of RG thanks to the number of rounds that they won. But Hellranger is looking to diminish it as much as possible. 6 and 5, and the rejuvenation of their first half will give RGE some confidence going into the second.
Absolutely. Even with, again, so much threat, it's not working anymore. Look at that. Fishball just so good at getting these. Oh, fun fact. You know, in my region, in the Philippines, fishball is actually a really good street food. Like panipuri, was it?
Panipuri, yeah, it's panipuri.
Panipuri. Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or something like that, is it?
Yes. It's like what's the word? It's like meatballs but fish in like ball form, and then just fry it. Yeah.
Yeah, just like the current fishball got fried by lightning.
That's true.
Well,
They have a red zone.
the ultimate, and Eskirotsi. This,
Spike
my
down,
God,
B.
the B-side lockdown. Instant push down from the side of God Squad, and they take the spike into their own hands.
remaining.
And Eskirotsi is relentless.
Oh, harsh. He's gonna get tagged.
Nah,
Not really, but he's making so much noise. Oh my god. Okay, he's 30 HP. He can't possibly win this in a 4 versus 1.
No.
Yeah, Lightning Fast was already in an off angle. That was skills. Oh.
a really, really awkward exchange of bullets there. Not his best moment, skills, but
No charges.
it's the round that matters. 7 and
That's true.
5.
Very solid. Still, now the tables have turned. The double controller, double initiator. I really do like this as an attacking comp because, again, the controller just gives you a lot more. Actually, controller and initiator alongside does have a lot of opportunity to flush out corners depending on which unit you do have. And because they do have those particulars, especially with the Astra, the concuss and the gravity well, really spectacular abilities just so that any pockets that you would deal with anywhere on Pearl can actually be really dealt with so quickly. So that's going to be something that maybe we're going to be looking here for Reckoning to adjust to once again.
Sure, yeah. And, you know, talking about those pockets, which I believe are mostly available on the Ace site because, you know, we've got the little cubby corner on the back side, which is, you know, although it's spammable, it is a really powerful position to avoid, plans from going down because you can just throw in the recon. If you're the Fade, it's really useful because these corners need to be cleared out like the Rays did, like, you know, like we just had Fishball. Those rounds where he just satchels straight in with the showstopper, clearing out those backside corners. Nobody on God Squad can actually do that because, of course, they've got no real, you know, agent to run straight in. But what they can do is, of course, use that Viper utility in combination with that Astra utility, you know, with the gravity well and, of course, the snake bite, yada, yada. I'm pretty sure they've got it all covered down. But in this tack pause, I really hope that RGE have a game plan situated for this second half because they need to win this pistol. It cannot go down like the previous half did. They cannot let go of control towards mid to the side of God Squad, which happened in the majority of rounds. And once they started taking that mid control is when they actually started hitting back. Like we saw that round, you know, that eco round where Zeke got that 2 kills with the Sheriff. That was only because they forced their way towards that mid double door region and somehow got out of a pressure cooker that they should have really just got fried in.
Yeah, that was so awkward, actually. That was a gimme round, honestly, for God Squad, and somehow they dropped the ball. And actually, you encapsulated perfectly. That was the round that I think started the real sequence of round wins afterwards for Reckoning. So again, they finally found a lot more success than they would that they were kind of hoping for. So that is something definitely to watch out for. And yeah, honestly, again, as I mentioned, mid control in Pearl is so underrated. There's just so many things that you can do there, especially if you know how to address the changes to Pearl. As you saw, there was a little bit more, just a little bit of difference on art now with the boxes being changed into that streamlined boost spot. In any case, what I also do like here for Reckoning is, at least in utility combos, they do have that gravity well nade that they can use to just really, really punish positions, especially even if you don't want to fight the push coming out from God Squad, especially now that they don't have a duelist. That ability combination is so potent, so we can see that maybe be one of the key factors in just ruining the pushes here for God Squad. But we'll see. It's a basic thing, but you never know. You do see it from time to time.
True, yeah. Let's find out whether or not this attack helps them out. RGE being on the defense, they of course have that Sage as well. Another, annoying character to deal with given her utility. Will the side of God Squad be able to find this one? Okay, I think we might have just paused at the absolute last second. I think there's a slight little problem, but I think we should be heading into the game real soon. I think we have a tech pause. Yeah, we have a tech pause coming in, and yeah.
Okay. We're just waiting for that to fix itself. There was like walls being placed up already. Okay. Okay. Look at the positionings of the Astra Stars here. Just very, very, what's the word? Just generically spread throughout, just so that it can help out each and every agent that's alone by themselves, just in case it gets aggressively pushed here by God Squad. And that goes back to our question before even this match started: how is God Squad's offense going to look now that they don't really have the duelist? Again, duelist really isn't the be-all end-all of entry into sites, but it's a really great helper. And that being the question, how well is their slow push up into these sites? Now, SK Rossi does use that budget smoke just so that he can get the cross right in. Now, rather than going for the Sheriff, just goes straight up for the Headhunter. And we'll see how this goes. But Fishball and teammate actually right here just to delay things a little bit more. There's the nade. This is a lot of damage, though. Look at that. They can't even get through anything because of the nade.
Oh, that Seize is going to give Harsh a little bit of damage, but still, Fishball will trade up for him. And now it's a 4v2 all of a sudden. That push towards B main just absolutely pummeled down. There is a mid push from Skills, who might just find one kill, but Zeke seems to be ready for it. No, not going to happen. Zeke, aware of the fact that there is a mid push coming in because they've, of course, got no chamber traps to put down. So all of them need to physically watch these choke points, these reverse angles, and Fishball will finish it off with his kill. 7 and 6. The pistol goes away of RG. Much required round. And the one thing I actually do want to talk to you about, Asura, is this mid region on Pearl is so like you said, it's like the Astra Stars are placed in a pretty generic side, right? But the mid region itself is so generic because the A connector and B connector are so closely positioned that rotation is one thing, but on the defense, you will know instantly if somebody's going towards B, because that mid region is such a close call V position, like a V-shaped thing between both A and B. Other maps, you don't really have this kind of a mid thing, do you? Like, the mid region have got the entrances towards B and A really far apart, like Breeze, for example. But in this, they're so close by, and this is how you can exploit them, while Rio just takes down 2 pretty easily. And is hoping for a third, but Zeke looks like he might be getting the spoils of this one.
One enemy remaining.
That's going to be Harsh, who's right behind him, and Skirasi. Good for 1. Crisp tap onto Rio's head, but he's got 4 more to look for.
Respect the Headhunter. All right. And they actually do. They back away smartly now, but look at Pixels. He's gotten all the critical information, and that is just all that he needs. We've spotted him. He's gotten the kill on top mid. Now all you got to do is wait A main, because that's definitely, or at least 50-50 where he's bound to go. And, man, as you mentioned, these stars just, these compact positions or compact push-outs is just a nightmare for attackers to push through when a gravity well always looms as a threat if you try to push through that.
True,
But
yeah.
again, it was still a weak buy for not Global, excuse me, but God Squad here. Now that they do have this 5 stack on Vandals, we'll see what the change does become, but it is a curious thing to see what happens when you do have the rifles down.
A really aggressive play towards B as they forced off Rossi off his angle. Now they know he's here as well.
There.
They know at least one person is there. Gonna pop out of the smoke together and check it. They're cleared off B completely, but the A side at the moment is where there's a lot of action happening. Rossi though, he keeps Harsh humble, but lightning fast on the other end of things is gonna take down 2. Rossi finds the 4th as well, as there's only 1 man left standing, and that's Rio, and he's stuck wandering towards mid as he's trying to get a double up on Rossi, but I'm not quite sure if he's gonna find anything at this point.
Yeah, it's too far away, but he can still pick up that Vandal if ever. I think they do have money anyways to buy up for the next round, so there's no real reason for Rio to go for this save. Might as well just try to take away weapons. Because he's such outer territories, he can maybe squeeze one in, but Skills is already just very wary of where he could be. Lightning Fast could actually double up this position here, slowly peeking out. No sounds given, no sounds taken, but Rio's already found 1 kill. Someone's gonna have to start peeking him, and that's gonna come through all the way through mid.
Ooh,
Oh, he still
Rio
gets so much value. If
another-
he finds SK Rossi, this is gonna be such a really cheeky position. Expensive though for God Squad.
Indeed expensive. Rio did a pretty good job of dropping those 2 weapons, and now a couple of them are going to be forced to play on probably that Spectre. If at all, you know, there's going to be a drop, of course. Rossi has got a couple of bucks left in his pocket. A Bolt, nah, I think they're going to all be able to. Now, one of them is going to be playing on the Bulldog. Kappa, I think that's all right. They still have money for a full buy. Let's see how this works out, though. Lightning fast. Let's draw a pretty interesting smoke orb towards that B quarter region. And that knife from Hellranger detects the Sage there, but it doesn't seem likely that they're heading towards that mid region. They're not concerned about mid at all in this round, actually, God Squad. They're heading in towards A with that spike, and Pixels is going to be the first point of contact. He spots out one, and he's going to give out the call to his teammate who's right next to him. And I think it might be a split push. They're all concerned about what it could be. No rotations made as of now, but Lightning Fast could cost some, as out go the utility, and Pixels, what are you jumping towards, my friend?
I thought that I thought that they wouldn't push through that smoke of his, but
Yeah.
no, you gotta respect the disrespect of God Squad. they are a team that just will go through
Spike
that,
planted.
fight through it tooth and nail. Anyways, Lightning Fast has a perfect position to actually push right now into Garden and get this double flank going, because I'm pretty sure he heard the 2 footsteps.
Enemy
There it is.
Brilliant.
Woo, just showing us, a little bit of a aim labs moment there, even though we don't really have aim labs in this particular VCT offseason. Anyways, it's Zeke by himself, tries to at least get cheeky with the wall, but not gonna happen as the ring around the Rosie from Kappa comes in swift. And God Squad, yep, no rest for the weary, no quarter given for Reckoning here. Every space they will take.
Yeah, Reckoning, that was a really, really, must-win condition kind of around for them. They had the full buy. They really needed to get that victory, but unfortunately for them, that 8 push, Pixels, if he had just stayed put, it is God Squad after all. They don't have a duelist, so they will be pushing it together in numbers, because that duelist, not being there, no dive agent, they're gonna go in as a team. He kind of didn't expect that. Gave up his life, and the site was instantly taken thanks to that. The isolation, thanks to the Viper's snake bite as well, kept Rio at bay. And now, Hellranger and Kappa await this mid push, and they're going to be able to shoot down everybody.
Bring them down.
It's a shooting gallery, as Fishball, the only one left, is going to be looking for one. Great shot onto Lightning Fast, but nothing more. As the trade comes through, and a pretty standard round should be going in the hands of God Squad.
Rio, very much aware that SK Rossi is possibly still lurking elsewhere. It's not him that's going to get the catch here. It's going to be Harsh first. No, they actually circumvent once again. Oh my god, this is where you really do see God Squad. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh my God Squad. Can really see that they're full in control of this situation. Rio's not really expecting the flank to come in. Harsh is just about to get the swing right now.
One enemy remaining.
What timing. That is just sickening. There's one more. And did he just miss it?
Yeah,
There we go.
by-
Okay, he saw him. He's fine. He gets it.
3K for SK Rossi as he puts up his numbers towards his ultimate as well, which is, by the way, ready. And right out, he gets it. The tour de force comes to play for the side of the attack as the defense have now taken a timeout, which is probably going to be the most important timeout of their entire series. If they don't win this, Azura, it's probably going to be game over.
That's a really big statement, and I have to agree with that. In terms of the economy, it's really a big nail biter right now. They definitely need to get a couple of things on their own end. And of course, even the rounds itself, even though it's kind of close, the finish line is much nearer for God Squad here. I don't know what's going to be the adjustment right now on the defense. It seems like whatever they want to do, it's not really working as swimmingly. Even though, again, right, God Squad has been just slow pushing this all throughout. And that's another thing that I wanted to talk about here. It feels like the slow push is working because SK Rossi hasn't really lost any of his lurk fights as often.
Yeah. He's kept himself alive for pretty long times, you know, lurking towards that mid-region, like we just saw in the previous round as well. Coming in for those late pushes, like you just mentioned. And it's wielding them a lot of, you know, fruitful successes. The team that's actually making those heavy pushes happen is Skills Kappa and Hellranger, with Lightning Fast coming a little later with his utility put down, right? So they're doing a pretty good job here. And yet again, towards that B site, they want to find themselves some success. One person right now between them and this B site, and that's Pixels. Zeke is pretty close by, and you can see that Rio is making his way towards that B corridor as well. But this B site at the moment is really, really sparingly protected, and Lightning Fast already finds a way through. And right at the moment that Viper Spit was going to come out, Lightning Fast finds an amazing kill, and a little too ambitious. Gets him drop dead. It's a 4v4.
Looks like he's starting to lose his nerve here. Rio trying to line up the emo rolling thunder, excuse me, the Nightfall.
Face your fear!
Counter Nightfall from Kappa here. That gives no no audio cues anymore for the rest of Reckoning here, and they're just deaf for a few more seconds. And this gives some crucial time for SK Rossi and the rest of God Squad to start lining things up. Great smokes overall, but there was a crack in the defense. Oh, this is terrible. They still have one playing at the back of B. Even if Rio does get some value as he kills 2 on long, Hellranger is still there at the back of sight, waiting for the punish to happen. And again, look at this, man. Pixels is losing his nerve. He's been getting caught so many times just trying to reposition and throw out a util by Skills very often.
That one smoke, one small little crack in the armor of the defense causes the entire squad to fall. And now it's RGE up against the ropes. They've got money to buy in. They've forced their way through here, Azurai, but this is a do or die situation. They're still 4 rounds away from where they want to be, and even more further than that is where they have to travel. It's a long journey. Lightning Fast. He's trying to put a stop to it by probably getting the first kill onto Harsh. Got him out. They're keeping him busy. Rio's right around the corner for support, but I'm not quite sure what the intention of RG in this round is. Kappa, all by himself, actually, coming a little too close for comfort. Could be in trouble of losing his life. Exchange of the Prowlers. As they're trying to sell out this fake towards B and the A site. Yeah, I think this might just be a case closed in the favor of the attack. SK Rossi, really aggressive positioning now. It's really difficult to get back out of from here.
Ouch. I mean, what can you really do, right? You try to get map control. but you don't have any information on where God Squad is, so you can't really push that far in unless you're just lucky enough or skillful enough that you get the picks. It's not really going to work for you, so they have to wait to find where God Squad actually showed themselves. But once they do, it seems like there's always that one player on the site from Reckoning that just gets eliminated, and that's where it just does not work out. Right? So this is just not the hottest thing. God Squad have so much money. They can chase for these kills. If they can even just get one more weapon away from their hands, this is just perfect.
Ooh,
Okay, good job for Rio. And at least they saved that one operator to and the rifle to come into the next round. But as I mentioned, there's just nothing that they can really do right now. I think the one big weakness, and this is very simple to just point out, you just have to stop dying one on the site because it really ruins the map control for RGE here. And now this is the last chance for them to keep the dream alive, at least for this series.
Yeah. You've got every round now to play as if it's their last. And it is actually going to be their last if they lose one more duel in the wrong direction. That fake soul towards B was perfect for SK Rossi to find that opening towards A. This time it looks like it's going to be on the other end. A similar approach, but this time Harsh is not going to be pushing his smoke and keeping SK Rossi at bay to make sure that the B site is not being contested from that B main position. Holding their angles. Fishball with the operator this time. Smoked off, blinded as well. That Boombot and Prowler combo is going to keep them at bay for a while. Another grenade to push them off of their feet. And for the moment, God Squad not too keen on going towards the B site as the spike is okay. This is really dangerous. Hellranger is in an amazing position to exploit this. And oh my god, there's one kill. Rio still doesn't know there's a player behind him.
He was so pressured. Oh, Harsh at least gets the refrag in the end. So this is still very manageable right now for RGE because Fishball has good control of B alley. And they're going to just have to go through Art here, but oh no,
30 seconds
no,
left.
no, Pixels, not again. He doesn't know, he's not even looking the right direction and Skills finds him. Oh my god, this is just going to the wayside here, Universe. Zeke does get the res, so we're still looking at a 3 versus 3. But now, what was once a really good spread of defense for Reckoning has gone, we're on this side and you're on your side. Fishball, that was a huge pick that at least gives him some threat levels with his
Last
showstopper.
player standing.
Oh,
But
no.
Skills finds him. No way. And SK Rossi's already out there. I think Rio reading the situation correctly. Tries to go for the cross. He misses the shot. He can actually go
player
challenge for the
standing.
defuse right now. Oh my god, this is actually going much
No more
better
distractions.
for Rio than I expected, but time is not ticking.
Does he
I don't
have
think he
it?
has time. I don't think he
Not
has.
quite sure. Let's
Oh,
find
it's
out.
gonna be
He's got a
close.
couple of seconds. Oh my
Oh.
god!
Attackers
20
win.
milliseconds make the difference. Holy damn.
Oh my goodness.
21
No.
milliseconds.
Third time's the charm for Pixels, man. I can't believe. How did Fishball actually lose that fight, though? He had the showstopper in hand,
Not
and
sure.
he still somehow lost. Would really have loved to have seen that POV because that was so crucial. But my God. Oh, there was so many things going so wrongly there for Reckoning. My heart just goes out to them. Oh my goodness. They had
Well-
a solid start of the round, Universe. Solid start, and it just crumbled as soon as a few sequences happened.
Yeah, I'm a little, convinced that they were really under the pressure. Like that one point where Rio find the kill towards B corridor, but then he wasn't really aware of the fact that Hellrangers actually come behind him because he sprayed a couple of bullets. And Harsh was probably telling him, okay, I got your back. Maybe came a little bit too late. Either way, that showstopper, I think, maybe had a mispositioned placement. Skills somehow survived it. He got the kill. And if Rio would have gotten that kill onto SK Rossi 20 milliseconds earlier, 20 milliseconds, it would have made all the difference in the world. And we would still be in the game, finding, reckoning, hunting for that round number 10, if number 11, number 12, even if it did come through. But God Squad do reign supreme on Pearl. a stranger of a map for both of these teams, and it is a little bit more in the favor of God Squad than it is Reckoning. A really, really intensive match, a really great try from Reckoning. But in the end, the control that overall the side that God Squad had on mid, and when they had the illusion of throwing fakes towards one side when on the attack, as we just saw, in the penultimate round. And of course, when they completely let go of mid and try to confuse the side of Reckoning, saying, okay, we're just gonna completely ignore mid. You can take it. We're gonna go to the side. Just everything played right into their hands. Like we mentioned that one round where Eskirasi finding fishball out of position and the A side opened up with one kill. Just advantage over advantage at the exact time that they required it, presented itself as an opportunity, and God Squad made the most of it.
My gosh, man. Absolutely. God Squad just, again, it seems like it's a throwback from what we saw it's going a little bit, replay on Icebox. The map control somewhat is questionable for Reckoning here. Once they start losing that, they really start to hit a plateau, and it seems like they have struggles trying to reach another level away from that. So without all that being said, congratulations to God Squad. They got their series win. Now we're looking at who the map MVP is. Honestly, it could go anybody, but right now I feel like it has to be.
Yeah, it's
there
Rossi.
he is. God Squad's star child, SK Rossi, 22 kills, 3 first bloods, ACS of 283. You really do see how well he just plays with that chamber by himself, with his team. Whatever they need, he can really be here on Pearl. And that pressure, I think, really was what really solidified their wins when they needed those few couple of rounds just to finish things off.
Yeah, I really believe that this could have been a whole different ball game, which I actually do want to ask you about. How do you think this game would have or could have changed, Azura, if we had Harsh on the chamber? Because as the Astra, he did have impact. I'm not going to lie, he did have impact.
Yeah.
But his impact was severely downgraded as compared to what he would have probably done on the chamber, right?
Yeah. The threat level definitely wasn't there. And I think just the utility of chamber in itself, right? Not looking at the rendezvous, but the trademark at least would have helped, I think, the map control for Reckoning just be a tad bit better, right? Because if this is a map that they weren't as fluent in, they would at least want that bit of utility that at least they don't really have to look at one angle every single time to push out, stuff like that. Even though they do have Zeke as the Sage being the Sentinel, it's a really different agent from the other Sentinels. And aside from that, as you mentioned, right, he was just fantastic in the last 2 maps with the chamber. So why not just put him again on the chamber? Because this is already the last game, and putting him on the Astra, even though his utility, as you mentioned, was great, his impact on that other agent was just even better.
Yeah, true. And that, that just serves evidence of the fact that RGE, completely unaware of what was going to happen on this map. They might have practiced it before. They might have done it, a lot of different things on scrims, but this is a competitive game. This was their first competitive match on Pearl. But ladies and gentlemen, it is God Squad to take this, and they will be moving forward. We've got another game coming up pretty soon, and we will see you all in that one. Arzurai is going to be taking that one with Caster JT, and I'm going to be coming back for the 8 p.m. game, which is going to be happening later on in the evening. But don't go anywhere. We've got another game coming up, and there's a huge amount of action to see who's going to be facing off God Squad in the final. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, do go down in the description, check out all the socials of Galaxy Racer, and follow them all if you want to stay updated about the biggest Valorant tournament that's held so far. And we'll be back with the Valorant Invitational India.